thought that I was Devon Wolf. He thought I was Devon Wolf. So
Who is that? Who's Devon Wolf?
We don't know. But apparently he killed all Kevin's pages. Stuff.
Well, I trolled him yesterday, and he's definitely foreign. I mean, everything on the profile is another language. So
yeah.
And I also went into the comments and likes and seeing if I could see anybody I recognized. And yeah, I don't recognize any of those people.
It's Jeremy here.
I don't know who that is.
Jeremy, are you recording?
Yeah, as you asked you. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Who's the other guy? Dom, is it? Hey, Dom.
Hi Dom. That's Jay talking there. Yeah,
hey.
Welcome.
How's it, yeah?
Hey,
no, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
He was asking me why your page got took down, and I was explaining it to him that there's, people out there that cause chaos and fuckery, of course, and I invited him on, and he was like, sure, I would love to. So here he is. He's a great guy. I think you guys would like him, and I'm going to bring good people here, not shitty ones.
we have a voice note. Jeremy, did you edit the names out so you can play it? So it just says that they think I'm I stole Kev's page or whatever. Have you got the voice note?
You just wanted me to edit names, except for...
I just wanted you to edit out a certain name. You know who I'm on about?
Yeah, I edit all names except
for an M.
I edited out all names except for Kevin. I can play that in a second.
Cool.
Yes, I want to hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
I'd like to share it.
I'm not sure if I can send it in Hangouts. I'll be able to send it in Discord, but I can't. I'd have to mess up with my audio recording devices and mess up the actual recording because I can't.
You've definitely cut out name though, right? It's not in the recording, is it? I asked you to edit it out.
Well, he is now because you just said his name.
No, I mean in the voice.
Well, we know. No,
I'm going to have to edit that out of the this recording.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Do you realize what you just did?
No, what did I do?
I'm recording.
Oh, mate,
now.
I'm too fucking confused right now.
Okay, I'm recording now.
I know why my page is killed.
I'm recording now, as you asked, and you asked me to not to say a certain, not to edit out a certain name of a recording that I'm going to play, so that it isn't in this recording, right? But you just you just said his name in this recording.
Oopsie. That's okay. Can we stop and start over?
I'll have to. No. I'll just censor the word that he said. I just hope I don't forget to do it. Okay.
It's it out, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. So basically, Amber is accusing one of my friends of telling Kev that. Yeah, you get the gist, don't you?
Yeah, I get it. I know what's happening.
So what I'll do,
it's like ABB all over again.
For the sake of the recording. I'm
fucking fed up for this bullshit. Seriously, guys, I built the second page and it's already fucking dead. I built ABB, that got fucking taken away from me, and now fucking I lose We Legion. Why can't I get a break? I built a 9k page in 11 weeks. People are jealous of me. I'm the fucking final boss.
I can explain a whole bunch of things.
I make monster pages so quickly. Do you know anyone else who can build a 9k page in 11 weeks? Do you?
No, I don't. That page did really well, very quickly.
To all this.
Oh yeah,
very well.
So my reach was like fucking massive, but people were really helping. I had a lot of people helping me because a lot of people were really upset that ABP was taken away from me, Tom. I started ABP because autism was getting attacked in the collective. It was a project for autism. Did you actually know that? Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that, Jay. I didn't know it was for autism.
Yeah, it was. I named it Bites Back because people were attacking my autism in in other shows. It was Daniel's panel, Late Night with Lucy, and they were really slating my autism. So I was talking with Mark, and I said, "Oh, we'll just start our own fucking page."
There are some things I obviously should say on that, but not actually this moment, but later on. about what you just said about autism and stuff. I've spoken about this before, but there is more important points to make on that. But obviously not right now, but later.
Oh, right. No, I know what you're saying. Though autism doesn't exist. But one thing is, people were attacking me.
There's more to it. There's more to it that I haven't said.
Go on, man.
I'll explain that later because there's an important topic at hand here. So as for the recording that you wanted me to edit, I've edited it, and if I play it, I'll only play it for this recording I'm doing. You guys won't be able to hear it while I play it, but I'm sure that you guys have heard it, or maybe most of you have heard the recording.
Just play it like you did the other day. Play it like you did the other day, because I could hear when you press play the other day. I could hear while you were playing.
I mean, I can try and put it loudly up to the speaker. No, I can't because it's actually going to get feedback. So I can't. Yeah, I can't do that in here. I can do it. I can send the actual file in Discord, maybe.
How did you play Cab's file the other day
on? Look, maybe it was playing. Look, I'll play it right now. And you can tell me over here. Just give me like 30 seconds or so right now of silence.
You've definitely cut out names though, right? You cut out the names.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll play this file that you asked me to play in this recording. Just when I say, just give me 30 seconds of silence, and I'll play it, and then I'll say when it's ready, just so that your voices don't overlap with the sound I'm going to play. Okay? So
all right. Cheers.
I'm going to play it right now.
Kevin is not a hacker. He makes videos. He does not know how to hack. He was just pissed off because sit there and stole True Anonymous Warriors and sit there and said it was you. So if anybody to blame, it's again.
I can't hear anything.
I'm gonna have to do it again. I just said, can you give me 30 seconds of silence? As I said, I'm playing it locally for this recording.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
I'll play it again.
Kevin is not a hacker.
Hang on. No, let me play it. I'll play it again.
Kevin is not a hacker. He makes videos. He does not know how to hack. He was just pissed off because sit there and stole True Anonymous Warriors and sit there and said it was you. So if anybody to blame, it's again. Was blaming you for stealing True Anonymous Warriors.
Okay, I played it for the sake of this recording. So outside of here, I can send that file on Discord or something, but I don't have the means to send it here in this chat right now.
That just sounded like some woman was having sex.
Well, it sounded like a fart.
If you like, I can send it in Discord or something.
She sounded like she was having sex, but she was paralytic. She was like,
Okay. I've got some things to say on this, a whole bunch of things to say on this. There's a whole bunch of things going on here. Okay.
Where's Sarah? Where's Sarah?
So I don't know, firstly, I'd like to say something about hacking. Mm-hmm. Okay, when it comes to social media and getting things shut down, 99.9% of that has nothing to do with hacking. All this is like toddler level report spam. Just report every post they make. That's all it is. There's no hacking involved. This is what almost all this censorship on social media revolves around, just false reporting. The way social media works is they do have Facebook employees that deliberately actively censor. They've done this to me a whole bunch of times. But most of it, on the whole scale of things, is that they don't respond to it unless someone reports it. And they also have employees that will go around and report things to other people who are banned as well. But for the most part, they rely on left-wing trolls who just report anything they don't like, and they'll just respond to that. There's so much overwhelming information going around on social media. They have no hope of just monitoring everything, so they rely on left-wing trolls, and they rely on hired left-wing goons to search through all this ocean of information to report stuff for other people to ban.
Yeah.
So yes, I never thought this Kevin Idiot was a hacker. I've got no impression that he ever was. I mean, I've got no concern about it. I've dealt with the worst of the worst. There's no concern of me. I just had problems with my internet connection during it was probably an attack by the government earlier. Dank knows about that. So anyway, so don't be concerned about Kevin hacking. Look, as far as I know, none of you have ever been hacked of anything regarding this. This is all to do with report spam shit. He
reported my page down. He made a video saying I was a traitor. He called my sock out as Vivian, but I haven't got a fucking clue who Brandon Myers is. I know it's a female, but it's not me. I'd be on it now if it was me, wouldn't I? Because I can't get on FB, so if it was me, I'd be using it.
Yeah. So, Jays, remember what I said yesterday is Kevin is trying to bait you and pull your puppet strings.
No, but he did kill my page because he thought that I was
to get
a guy that killed his page.
But he's trying to provoke you into getting some kind of ammunition you can use. All he's doing is report spamming and just talking a bunch of shit. That's all he's doing. He's report spamming and talking a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but he thinks I'm Devon Wolf. And the thing is, right, he is skilled because we have fucking hit his page. We have hit his page over and over. We have hit You're Being Watched. Me and Dank hit it about 150 times. Dank, take your mic off so we can talk. We hit it constantly, and it would not die. And everything on that page is an attack.
Yes, this is often because of Facebook. This is often because of Facebook is politically oriented in a certain way, and they deliberately don't censor certain things, and they'll make any excuse to censor something else.
No, but one thing is, We Are Legion went down easy, but We Are Legion, Daphne, you've been on there, that page, We Are Legion, we haven't got anything dodgy on there, whereas Kevin page is full about attacking people
because Facebook will go, they'll look at the report, and they'll look at what these people are doing. If these people are doing really evil shit, Facebook won't ban them, they will allow that shit, because they're trying to destroy society. So if someone who's actually talking about anything to do any risk of them talking about the truth and any resistance to the forces of evil in this world, they'll ban that. If someone's promoting pedophilia and mass murder and genocide and shit, they'll allow that. Yeah. So yes, Facebook themselves are doing conspiracy shit, but the people that you're trying to get shut down are not. So if you want to play the game of report spam, don't complain when you get hit by it. Okay? There's a different way how to do things instead of just report spam and censorship. What is not anonymous supposed to be adamantly against censorship? So if you play that game, expect to get burned. Now, yesterday, and I've said this a bunch of times, but I said a lot yesterday, and Dank I had a conversation with Dank over this, if you can ask him yourself, is there is a different way, and I will show you how I do things and how Anonymous became famous for doing things. There's a different way. Now, I said in Discord, I asked people to do certain things for me. If you do that for me, I will handle the rest. If you do that for me,
Jeremy, do it. Just
That's a good idea.
Don't talk about what I said in this recording. I will have to edit it out. I asked everyone to do a certain thing. And I can go through this later off record, again, if it's not clear. I need you guys to do a certain thing for me, and to not do certain things like report spam and stuff. If you do that, I can't help you. But if you do what I ask you to do, I will handle the rest, and then I will show you a different way, the way I do things, and the way it works.
He's not going away. He's still making stupid little fucking videos all the time.
I just want him gone. Don't report it.
I just want him gone.
Don't report it. Just let him do what he will do. Do what I ask you to do, and let me handle the rest, and I will show you. I will show you a completely different way of doing things. And when I do what I do, once it's done, you will understand. Okay? Just please, just do what I ask you to do. Let me handle the rest, and then once you've done what I've done, you're done. Give me within a day, maybe a few hours, and it'll all be solved. And you'll see.
It's not fair though. I lost like a 9k page. I mean, I've already got.
Yes.
250 likes.
Don't play the censorship game. If you want to play the censorship game, you're going to get burned. So please, if there's any confusion about what I asked to do, I will go over that in Discord later again. Okay? So Don't play the same game back. It's a different way, and I will show you why that way is necessary and so powerful. Well, maybe we'll go through this again off record once we're done, just to be clear. I'll go over it again, crystal clear. So there's the point of don't play that game. Please do what I asked you to, and so I can do what I can't do what I will do if you don't do that. And Kevin's not hacking anyone. No one that I've seen is hacking anyone. It's just all fake hacker threats over social media. All it is, I've got a perfect meme for this. My social justice warrior report spam, as people say, report fag, meme over this. Just give me a sec, I'll find it. I made this meme for a reason. I've used this meme to death. But this meme here, I'm posting it right now.
Sean, come on.
Have a read of that meme.
And see if you get the message of it. Choose. There's two sides there. Just be clear about which side you're doing that. Sorry about coughing. I've got so many memes. Like I made that. I said this before. I made a video meme the other day.
This meme is that offensive to the powerfully corrupt that if they find out that I made this meme, I would go to prison for more than 10 years. And I'm not kidding, because the government have actually threatened people with more than that for less. And I I linked to that meme, like I can go link to you. In fact, I will link to you here right now. I'll go get the link to it. And if you want, while we talk, you can download it and you can see just how offensive and intentionally offensive in a good way that this meme is. So I'll just get the link right now. Just give me a sec.
Bro, I don't give a fuck about memes right now.
But if anyone wants to watch it, you'll see what I mean. But look, I said crystal clear. Don't play the censorship war, or I can't help you, and you're going to get burnt if you want to play a censorship war.
Yeah, Jay, just let me do the custom part.
We can talk about this for ages off record, but we can't talk about. I can't say any more about that on record. It's best, otherwise it'll ruin everything. But we can talk more about that off record for however long. But I can't say anything more about that on record.
He's a psychotic fucking bitch. That's what he is. He's a fucking psycho. He is actually like a little psycho.
I'm not really that concerned. He's easy to deal with, and I'll show you how easy he is to deal with
He's not easy to deal with. We've been trying to get rid of him for fucking half a year.
Well, watch me handle this the way that I do the things, and I'll show you a different way and how it works. Okay, Jay, listen, you have to do what I ask you to do, and don't play censorship war.
I just want to black his IP and fucking get him off. That's what I want to do.
Censorship is not the solution. There are better ways.
We don't do that kind of stuff, Jay. Shh.
I'll show you a better way, and you'll see a better way.
Guys, you don't understand, like, I've just lost another fucking huge page.
I do understand.
Jay, if anybody understands, I do. I mean, we've all lost stuff because of idiots. I mean, we do understand. That's why we're here for you, honey. We do understand.
Would you like me to go through all the censorship that I've got? I've got a whole playlist of censorship. I'm censored all over the internet. As for social media, I'm banned from almost every anonymous Facebook group.
Bro, wow. I can't even make FB accounts. I'm fucking just as blacked out as you. I can't, if I make account, it goes to checkpoint.
Yes, because this is not because of some conspiracy to blacklist. What it is, it's because of the methods that you're using to make a new account. So if you use a new browser, for example, and you've got no web history, they'll check for any kind of web history that they can track. If they can't find anything, it's completely clean, they'll checkpoint you automatically.
No, boys, you're both wrong. I was ratted a few months ago.
No, you've not been ratted, man.
Yeah, I was ratted. They gave me a cleaner. FB closed my JC account, and they said that I had...
Who ratted you? I've been ratted.
Let me talk a minute. So they sent me a cleaner saying that I had to clean my account and they wouldn't let me back on. I sent Mark what I downloaded. Yeah, no, just listen a minute. So I sent Mark what I downloaded. He sent me a program, Hitman Pro. I went on to Hitman Pro and it said that I had it said I had a remote access Trojan and I cleared it out. But Facebook UMI and my Mac ID. That's why I can't make any accounts.
No, they're not actually legally allowed to do that. They're not legally.
Well, I know it's not legal. Me and Mark were talking about it, but they did try rat me. I
have no concern that Facebook are doing anything with Mac addresses and stuff. What this is, I've dealt with this a lot, is people think that Facebook is able to find out specifically, or they're deliberately specifically identifying people.
Mate,
understand they're overwhelmed with a whole lot of information.
Jeremy, let me speak. I found the fucking remote access Trojan that they sent me, and Mark gave me the fucking stuff to get rid of it.
Who sent you?
Mark, what?
Who sent you?
Right, Facebook sent me a virus cleaner.
How do you know they sent you a virus?
No, they sent me a virus cleaner. They would say they locked me out my account, saying I had a virus, and it was the cleaner that was the fucking thing that I gave access.
How do you know Facebook sent you? Facebook would never send you a virus cleaner.
Exactly. Well, they did. They said.
Have you got documentation to prove it?
Mark's probably got screenshots somewhere.
If you can get screenshots, show me. As for Facebook and viruses and stuff, the way Facebook sends you viruses is it's through third parties. They are paid off by third parties who send shit onto your newsfeed, links to clickbait, and that clickbait will give you a virus. I've got a video of me doing this on purpose, triggering one of these viruses.
After I cleaned my computer, when they said I had a virus, they said to me, oh, Facebook, you can't go on your Facebook because you've got a virus and it needs to be cleaned, and they sent me this fucking XE to clean it. Yeah, so I cleaned it, and then I said, Mark, what happened?
You're gonna have to show me documentation. It sounds like someone's been pretending to be Facebook or something, but you're gonna have to show me documentation of this, and I'll have a look through it. Okay? See if
that doesn't make sense because whenever me, Mark, and Ari were making accounts, all our accounts were dying. We couldn't get back on Facebook. We went down like dominoes, two in a row.
This has happened to me too. It's because of different reasons. It's because, for one, there will be someone who is who you're adding or friends of friends who is noticing your accounts and who's reporting them down. That's usually the case. Or you're triggering checkpoints because you're using new browsers with no web history and stuff like that.
No, Zuckerberg's got my UMI. He's got my unique
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is not as intentional and deliberate as you think. It's actually more automated. There is things that happen intentional, and it's usually that someone's reporting your accounts. But usually it's just they're changing the algorithms and making it harder and harder over time to make new accounts.
Jay, have you still got the EXE?
No, I completely terminated it with Hitman.
Found out exactly what was in it.
Yeah, no, it was Hitman Pro, and I just terminated it straight away because it opened up a little red button as well. If you ask Mark, a little red button opened up on my bar, like they were watching me.
If you got any documentation on this, show me, okay? Find it and show me later.
I'm not downing you on anything like that, but I wouldn't think Facebook would send an EXE.
It's because of that viral video I made, that fucking Anon video that went fucking millions of views. That's why it happened. Because I made such a noise.
Yeah.
I think that's why it happened.
What I was saying, are we going to do that episode about the hats? You know, the colour hats?
Yeah, that's what there's a whole bunch. There's something I wanted to talk about too about that Zeitgeist Venus Project, Venus Geist thing as well. But yeah, your first thing you said is you wanted to talk about hats. I'll put those memes that I did that you were interested in that you're talking about.
I tell you what, though, boys, it's the fucking engineering going on here because someone's told Kevin that I am Devon Wolfs and I don't even know who the fuck Devon Wolfs is. I'm not him on my tank. You could say that on my stock as a.
Yeah, but I've been recon his whole wall today, and that James Payate, whatever his name is.
Yeah, you fucking added him into Harbour Killers. He's a fucking loser. Well, why did you do that?
I think he's just nobody, just trying to cling on people. So I just removed him.
Did you add him to troll him?
I removed him.
I can't stop coughing.
Because he's absolutely no value to no one.
How many of us are in here? We got 5.
So why did you put him in Harbour Killers then? Because he's not part of our crew.
It was just basically an invite to anybody, really. But as you know, in Harbour Killers, I've got sections where I've turned off permissions and only edited the roles, so people can only get in secret.
Is that why I got red right in like you, Tank? Am I special? Yeah.
You're special when you got the crown.
I got special needs.
You're special when you got the little crown now. That means you're creator.
No, I'm not creator. I normally give my
I think you're root anyway. It doesn't really matter anyway. Everyone's got the same permissions, but just the Randys haven't got no permissions to read nothing.
I know you.
So regarding those hats, I just put up the 2 memes that you referenced yesterday.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting and important topic too.
I wanted Colleen to join, but she's too scared to join. She reckons she's the founder of Anonymous. She's the president of Anonymous.
Well, let's debate it.
Yes,
Colleen Carter.
Offer her $1,000 to make me in debate and beat me in debate over the claim of founder.
I've never seen anybody beat this man. He strips them like he's stripping.
I've got a long history of beating ex-founders and leaders of Anonymous and stuff. I meme them too. Look, I'll show you one of them.
Dude, she's new flag.
Them, man. We'll get her in here, man.
Founder versus leader, where is it? I know. I'll link you to the video, actually.
Colleen Carter. She's always sticking up for Kev. She reckons she's the president of Anon.
If you're the president of Anon, come and debate it with the founder of Anonymous. And then
so we've got a president. Is this as a president, is it? I've beaten the leader. I've beaten other founders. Now I get to beat a president.
I'm having a Pringle and I'm fucking hungry.
Where's it? Where is he?
Jay, you're supposed to eat a Snickers when you're angry, honey.
Hungry.
Did you get Snickers over there?
No, I told Jay he's supposed to. You know, the commercial where you eat a Snickers and you're a happy person.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fancy a chocolate bar now.
Well, Mark needs to get his little buttocks in here too. I know he doesn't eat a sandwich.
No offense, but American chocolate sucks. Your chocolate is too sweet. I had Hershey's and I felt sick. It's too sugary.
Nuh-uh.
Have you tried British chocolate? I tell you.
No.
Have you?
There we go.
Dank,
what is British?
Showdown
what
between
is
bosses of the internet. Founder versus leader.
South African chocolate is just as sweet.
Like Cadbury.
So what's the Galaxy, Jay? Galaxy is English.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, send me some, Jay. I'll give you my Addy. What was that?
Easter egg.
Special today's blueberry waffles.
So when you're ready to talk about the hat topic, just beforehand, just have a look at the 2 images.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy. I'll hush. Yeah.
Have a look at them
we're
first
talking
so you
about
know what
food
we're talking
right
about.
now. Food is a good topic.
How do you know I'm not a god?
He can edit all this out anyway, so it doesn't.
How do you know?
No, it doesn't need to edit. We're just flowing. This is more natural, isn't it? We're just hanging out and laugh, talking about anything.
Yeah, but the main debate is about the hats and if the president of Anonymous is going to show up.
The main debate is about the hats. What the fuck are you on about? What hats?
You know the hats the other day we was going to do it about.
People need to know the difference between the hats, for real.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're on about.
That's a good topic.
Look, scroll up and you look at the 2 hat memes that I put up. To frame the conversation.
I was saying you missed out brown and grey.
No, I didn't. No, I've already put grey in there. As for brown,
there's a brown one now. What's the brown one mean?
A brown is not real. A brown hat is not really an actual hat. It's more of a.
It's Indiana Jones, isn't it?
A brown hat is really just a black hat who has aspirations of becoming a red hat, but they're a brown hat who has fantasies of being a red hat, but they haven't quite done it yet.
Well, I'm the yellow one.
So
my book, the Red Team
Field
Manual that I got ages ago, that's all attacking, basically.
I can go. I've got like whole things, videos, and articles, and graphics, all kinds of stuff I've got over this.
So I'll just, for the sake of anyone listening, because for the recording they're not going to actually see. So
I'll say it out. So there's a hat grid with the progression of hats. So a green hat can become a black hat, a grey hat, or a yellow hat. A yellow hat can become a white hat or a grey hat. A grey hat is like the point of decision. They can become a black, a red, blue, or white. A black hat can only become a red hat. There's only one path for a black hat to eventually become a red hat. A red hat can only become a blue hat. Blue hat can only become a white hat. If you lived long enough and you took the longest road, you would eventually become a white hat. But in the end, so there's a psychological progression.
Actually, people think black hats are the most...
White hats are basically... So I'll go through the primer of what they are. A green hat...
I thought the red hats were the worst ones.
No,
I'll explain all this stuff. So a green hat is a beginner.
Because they're the reverse engineers who take them all wear apart.
So I'll explain. The colours of these hats actually mean something. For example, when you go look at police around the world, the police are always associated with the colour blue.
Yeah,
because they are defenders. Yeah. They like to portray that they're defenders of the population. No, they're not defenders of the citizens. They're defenders of the politicians. They are the right hand, the enforcing hand of the politicians. Police are the enforcers of policy written by politicians, or from the Greek word polis, a political system.
Fucking scumbags.
So police always have the colour blue because they are defenders of something. So this symbolism is not just chosen for the context of hats. These hats are not necessarily to do with computer hacking. These are generalized color symbols that are universal across the animal kingdom. Even animals operate in the same psychology of colors. This is why we have flowers and stuff like that are specific colors, and why bees are yellow and stuff like this. These colors actually mean something.
Jeremy, quick question.
I don't like police. Does anyone like police here, or is it just me?
No, fuck the police.
You got a question?
I want to ask you a quick question about the hats.
Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
I'm anarchy, baby.
A lot of interesting police memes I've made.
We're fucking anarchists.
Well, put them in there, Jeremy, because I have shared the shit out of your memes yesterday.
Too many. What I could actually just compile a whole bunch of memes of my active collection that I've got at the moment, and I could just compile them, and you can go through, and I can just give you all a download of them all, because I've got like. I'll just count my active memes right now. I'll just count how many active memes.
Jay, did you see the game he made?
I did. I just watched
so my active memes, and a lot of these I've actually made. I've got 1,625 of them. In 86
game he
folders.
Made was amazing.
Can I ask a question right quick about the black hat?
Yeah.
When someone claims to be a black hat and they are in no way, shape, or form a black hat, like, is there some kind of punishment for that, or do you just overlook it?
Yellow hat.
There is no person who decides which is which. There's no king of each hat. Now, these are actual colour symbolism that means something. No human decided this. Evolution decided this millions and millions of years ago. The whole animal kingdom works on this principle. So this isn't some ideological construct. This is nature's construct. Humans have a specific range of color sensitivity, right? We perceive different color ranges on the spectrum of light, and so an alien species, for example, might actually see a little bit different. Who knows? But certain animals, like bees, for example, see in a different spectrum to the rest of us. But generally, for most animals, at least mammals, they see in a specific color system. Fish, for example, don't, because they don't see certain colors, because certain colors don't penetrate very far into water. But when it comes to mammals, most animals, not bugs, but most animals see in a general same region of color.
Basically,
now people say that dogs are colorblind and stuff. No, they're not colorblind. They do see.
No, they can see primary colors.
Yeah. So there's a lot of myths regarding color, but basically, there's the main three color eye sensors we have in our eye are red, blue, and green. So the old school TVs used to have red, blue, and green pixels. So if you have red, blue, and green, if you actually zoom into a TV, it's not the same with modern TVs, but you zoom into old TV, you'll see it's actually got pixels with three colors in it. If you have red, blue, and green evenly distributed, you'll come up with white. Your brain will interpret it as white. White isn't actually color. White is all colors.
evenly distributed. Your brain interprets it as white. It's not actually what you're seeing. Your brain is reinterpreting what you see because it can't determine which color it is because it's all mixed in so much.
Yeah, but
so it's on a grey scale from black to grey to white. That's how your brain works. There's a lot of I could talk hours on this, but
you do talk for hours. You don't let people talk.
I'll explain what these colors, the symbolism of. If you look this up, you look up color symbolism. There are websites over this stuff that explain. Some of them are just complete fantasy bullshit, but others are actually legitimate when it comes to color symbolism. So for the sake of anyone who would listen to this, I just want to go through what the colors mean. So green hat means a beginner. Yellow hat means a troll. Grey hat means a decision. Is it like someone who sits on the fence?
Let me talk.
Let me go through the hats first, so we have some kind of framing of the conversation.
I was actually going to tell Daphne what a black hat was, but
I'm explaining what the hats are one at a time. It's best to do them all at the same time. A black hat is a vandal. A red hat is an attacker. A blue hat is a defender. A white hat is a veteran.
You just have the Jeremy show.
Okay, so now you go on. Say what you're going to say. I had to explain all the hats.
He's gone. He left, I think.
Yep.
That's okay. Go ahead. You're fine.
I have to explain this in a coherent way. I just put up 2 memes for the sake of anyone listening to this recording. I had to explain what each hat means so we can actually have a beginning of the conversation of what hats are, instead of just running off in all tangent directions everywhere. So he wanted to talk about black hats. Either he disconnected or he raged, whatever the case. Obviously, he doesn't want to talk about black hats.
No, I had asked a question, and he thinks that I was asking what a black hat was. I know what one is. I was asking
bad guys, basically.
What? Yeah, exactly. And if they portray themselves to be as such, and they are not,
Mark's coming on.
Woohoo!
Cool. Now, he can have a very good debate. So him and Jeremy are going to have a very good talk.
Can you try?
I know. I can't wait for this. I love Mark's dad. That's awesome.
Get Jay to come back?
Jay will come back. I think he's just a bit...
just let him calm down a little bit.
He's fine.
Let him eat something. He needs a Snickers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a Snickers.
I think he misunderstood what I was asking, so it's okay. It's no big deal. I enjoy hearing you guys just talk because you're very informative. So I'm just sitting here enjoying it.
It's like what I needed to explain, at least explain one word introduction of what each hat is. It's like
but dude, sometimes you talk for like fucking hours and you don't let other people fucking say anything. It winds me up.
In order to read a book, you need to first have a table of contents of what the topic is. You need to define the topic first. So I needed to list. It took me like 30 seconds to list what each hat is.
Mate, all I wanted to say to her was fucking the black hat is a malicious hacker. That's all I wanted to say.
No, not necessarily. Malicious hackers are black hats, but not all black hats are malicious hackers. This has nothing to do with actual hacking. These color symbolism means more than computer stuff. This is in every aspect of life. The black hats are basically the bad guys.
But just saying, if she used the term black hat, mostly it means someone that's into the dark side of hacking.
Yeah, when it comes to computers and stuff like that, generally it means a malicious hacker. But there's a vastly broader definition of it, which basically means the bad guys. That's pretty much what.
Personally, I think when they pretend to be one, that they need to meet a real one. That's what I think.
Well, those who say that they're a black hat, they are either a black hat or they're a grey hat who's leaning towards they're on their way to be a black hat.
Oh, they're neither. They're not at all because maybe that's what I've encountered.
Maybe someone might do it a yellow hat troll and might say it as a joke, but they don't really mean it. They're just doing it as a troll, maybe. But usually,
you know Jeff Duffy because he means it.
Yeah, usually when people say that they're a black hat, they're not joking. they mean what they're saying, even if they're saying it.
Well, No, they're on Facebook, honey. They do it all the time. And they're not really black hats. Or hackers.
Jay, I do speak, but I also listen. I go through long periods of not speaking. It's best when people speak that they finish what they're speaking and then someone else speaks and they finish what they're speaking. Instead of saying like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there incoherently, finish what you're saying and then
go to the next thing.
Maybe we need things so that we can all come in and we don't cut over each other, and then we can all say something. Does that make sense?
There's Mark.
Stop trying to control the flow. Just let the conversation flow as it will. Just be patient and stop trying to rush.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
All you got to say is right. Could I get a word in now? Could I get a word in now?
Mark.
Jay.
Yeah.
Mark. Jay.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. But that's all you got to do. He's just saying, let him finish his conversation, then you could. Then you can jump in.
What the hell's going on? Why is it replay like that?
Don't know. It's
long. What the hell's going on? Why is it replay like that?
Don't know. It's long.
What the hell? Mark, have you got your computer open? Mark, have you got your computer open? What's going on?
I don't know. I heard an echo. I heard myself more than once.
Mark came in and then he just went away. He didn't even say anything.
It was echoing when Mark came in.
Yeah. Who's asking, can you hear me? Can you just do a test word just to say what word you're going to say?
That was strange. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jay.
I can hear myself.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you, Dank.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. Tom, say something, honey.
And I can hear Daphne.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
There's
hear
Mark
you.
again.
Yeah. Well, is that
There's
Mark?
Mark.
That's not Mark.
You say Asimov?
Who's that? Dom, isn't it? Dom.
That was Dom, and then Mark said something.
Jay, can you hear me or what?
Oh, hey, Mark. Yeah, I can now.
Yeah, I can hear you, Mark. Hey, man.
Okay.
I can hear you.
We're talking about hats.
What kind of hats are these?
Mark said he's got a kipper hat.
The kind of hats guys? White hat, black hat, grey hat, and others that are not so well known.
Oh.
This is Jeremy, Mark, from the other night we were talking to, Tehran. Tehran.
Oh, whichever way. I used to say it a different way, but I used to say Tehran. But now I say Tehran.
Tehran means like Earthling, right?
Sorry?
That means like Earthling, right?
Earthling? I didn't know what you said.
Guy from Earth. The Earth is called Terra.
Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Earth. Okay, yeah.
So like Terran would be...
Terra as in terraform and all that, yeah. It's from an old root word, yeah. It actually has an origin without context, but yeah, the same word is what you mean.
Okay.
He's the founder of Anon.
Yeah, I heard that.
I've got a lot of information there on that if you want to check it out. I recommend people to listen to my 11-hour story before anything, if they've got the patience just to listen to my story.
Hey, you sent me it before.
Have you ever met Mark, Jeremy?
Sorry?
Have you ever met Mark?
I met him in the Manhattans. He'll know me as a Manhattans.
Oh,
I think it was 2016 or something that we met.
2015 and 16, yeah.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, we had them on the show, didn't we, Mark? We had them on ABB.
Yeah, he was on ABB too. Yeah.
I was one on ABB. The red one and the blue one were when I was in prison.
Yeah, we had Mr. Red and Mr. Blue on, I think, because I remember.
I know Mr. Red was on. I don't know about a blue though.
We got hold of Crayolas, and I was like, "Oh, fucking on!" And then he told me about, some of the history on that, and who was in there and that, and then, we got him on the show, huh?
Well, I think he's a really good guy. I like hearing you guys.
Thank you.
Put the information we need to hear out there. So I'm going to mute, and I'm going to just let you guys go at it.
Yeah, Mark, what are we going to do about Kevin? Because he's a headache now, and we need to take the painkillers.
I already offered a solution. Well, I don't ask much from you guys, but I ask for a little bit, and that's.
He doesn't disappear though, Jeremy. You don't understand. Like his page has been hit over and over, and you're being watched. Just doesn't die.
I already explained to you why that happens. Blame Facebook for this. Don't blame them for this. This is Facebook deliberately do this. I cop this all the time. Everyone's copping the same thing.
There's no conspiracy against you outside of Facebook, a generalized conspiracy for Facebook. Like, for example, people complain about pedophile groups. You report pedophile groups that are openly promoting pedophilia and showing pictures of naked children and stuff, and Facebook won't take it down. But if you say hello the wrong way, you get taken down. Facebook are doing this to everyone. They're trying to destroy society and burn all the books and stuff.
Tell Mark.
So these people who aren't getting taken down, it's not their fault, it's Facebook's fault.
So Jeremy, Jay told me about that whole Christchurch thing, and I heard you talking about that on a video. Like, it's kind of shocking for me to be honest.
There's the first video I did with everyone here. I went for like a couple of hours. I've got it uploaded on my YouTube channel. I think Jay's got a copy of it too. There might be others as well. But is that the video that you saw?
About that manifesto, and
because I went through a lot of details over about 2 hours. I'm pretty sure that's the video that you're talking about. Did you go through the whole video?
I think so. Yeah. I did switch once to another video. I don't know why. It suddenly, I was listening to it. I was thinking I was skipping through it.
Oh yeah.
And it was switching to like the real story of Bear Grylls. I don't know why, but.
I've got a copy uploaded on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch the whole thing, you're not sure if that's the right video, I can give you a link to that. And also, I can give you where to start. The whole scenario regarding Christchurch actually started a month earlier with the biggest political scandal in Australian history. This is why he rushed what he did. And I told everyone it was about to happen. And I offered people money to stop it. I offered politicians money to stop it. And a lot of shit went down, and I've got hours and hours of videos over the Emma Eros video onwards on my YouTube channel. So if you want the links to like this stuff, you want to go through hours of some really deep rabbit holes on this stuff, I can give you that stuff if you want.
Tell Mark what you think about why Tarrant did it as well, because he thought they were
he did it
terrorists.
Well, they were terrorists. He proved in his manifesto that they were terrorists. I did a poll on this matter, and there was like 365 votes
read out the poll to Mark.
Everyone knows that these people are terrorists. Everyone knows that Brenton Tarrant basically took out an ISIS compound, and that the government's and the media, they're all lying about everything. Everyone knows this is the case, and everyone knows that everyone else knows, and they're just not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, but I saw that video, and it was like a dead kid. I'm sure that was not a terrorist, right?
Have you, Mark? Have you had a look? So, if you, as you're saying, we watched the video. You're saying that you watched the actual shooting video?
Yeah.
The whole thing. Okay. So have you read his manifesto?
No, I did see the whole Achan stuff.
Okay, I've got a lot of other footage regarding this as well, but that's separate. But I highly recommend you read his entire, at least read his the first half of his manifesto. The second half of his manifesto, he just goes through different groups as he's commenting on different political groups and stuff. But the first half of his manifesto is him explaining why he's doing this and providing links to evidence and stuff of what's going on. This is about fighting against globalism, invasion, and genocide. And no one.
So I know a little bit about the background there, and that is that this group or these people pretty much say that like our birth rate is lower than the birth rate in other countries, where like the Middle East and like in Africa, and they are afraid that Europe and the West will be like overrun by them in time.
It already is. This is not by accident. This has been going on for a long time. This is an intentional and well-documented genocide of the white race.
So, Breivik also had like a similar story to this. I know about that too, yeah.
There are millions and millions of people protesting all over Europe against this genocide of their own people. But the media won't let you know about it. The media won't talk about it.
Oh yeah, the media made out like fucking Tarrant just went out and killed some innocent Muslims. Yeah. He didn't make anything out that you're telling us.
Yeah, if you go over, Mark, if you were to start with that 2 hour, in fact, I'll link it here if you want it. I'll just go get it right now in case you want to save the link.
Just send me whatever you want to send. Like, I don't support these kind of actions, but the theory behind it, like, I always want to read into that. Of course.
It's always good to know both sides of the coin, isn't it?
I think some people, they have like legit fears and they read a lot about the world and stuff, but then they they become like extreme into it, and then they do something which I think is stupid to do it like this. I mean,
until you know this, until you read his manifesto and go through his arguments, I don't think anyone has the right to actually have to judge until they actually read his manifesto and go through his arguments and make an argument, construct a proper argument against it. Because in his absence, I will argue in his place for his arguments against anyone who has any contending argument. So I just gave you a link there. That's a copy of that 2-hour thing we had where I talked about the event and everything, and I referred to other stuff. I'll give another link to a playlist of what happened a month before about.
Yeah, can you read out the poll? Can you read out the poll?
Yeah, I'll send. No, I'll do better. I'll actually send the screenshot of the poll before they shut it down. I'll just send one more.
No,
link
yeah, but it's nicer to talk about it because then we can debate about it. Because Mark can
I can read the poll if you want. I'll send the screenshot to you. Just give me a sec. One Nations.
Love sending you screenshots.
So here is a playlist. I'll just send another link if you want it. Here's a link to the playlist of the Muslim scandal in Australia that led him to rushing what he was doing. Okay, now I'll send the poll that I referred to.
Right.
Just give me a sec.
Okay, real quick, Jay, did you air this kind of stuff before on Facebook or?
What's on Facebook right now? Yeah, I'm active in a lot of places everywhere, doing a lot of things. So yeah, all this stuff has been everywhere.
Yeah, but I just mean like this kind of conversations. Are you airing this on Facebook, Jay? Because
no, I can't air it on Facebook. I'm banned from Facebook. I'm only putting it up on my YouTube channel.
Okay, but this is illegal. I think they will.
What's illegal? What have I done?
Yeah, no, I mean they consider this like a breach of their terms.
Well, you think this is why my page was
What
killed?
terms have I breached? Look, I get banned from Facebook for saying nothing.
Wait a minute, Mark might be onto something.
Saying nothing means hate speech.
Wait a minute, Jay. Can I speak to Mark? Wait, basically, you think that the page could have got killed because of these live episodes we've been putting out on the page?
If they listen to this and that this whole talk about this killer and stuff, I think so.
Oh shit!
Well, I'd like you to specify what crime or terms of use violation I've done, because they're not banning people for terms of use violations. They're banning people everywhere, all over the place, all over social media, everywhere, over alleged terms of use violations, but they can't specify them because they're just making up the rules as they go. I can give you
I'm going to try it.
I can give you a shitload of bizarre screenshots of the things that I get banned for.
I think they killed my page because we just didn't hold back. We just said what we wanted.
We'll see that as a good thing. Oh, where's the I've gone to the wrong thing.
That's funny, Mark. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, like,
too savage.
I mean, I jump in here. I already think it's too savage. I think like, can you even do this?
Is this a bit more savage than ABBR? You're just used to falling asleep on ABB now these days, isn't it?
I just sent the poll. I explained the poll. So I don't know. I did this poll. It should come up any second now. I did this poll in the biggest and controversial political Facebook group called Paul N. Hanson's One Nation, and this is the biggest place where everyone talked about politics, right? So a lot of people complained that they thought that this was a setup because they were scared of getting targeted, so they refused to vote. So a lot of people saw this but didn't vote. However, a lot of people did, and as people started voting, other people started realizing that other people actually agreed with them. And it started, people started realizing what they're not allowed to say is there's a big underground army of people who believe the same thing. And a lot of shit went down over this. A lot of things got shut down. But this poll started a lot of things. So you look at the votes on that poll and read what they say. I've said this in episode 1 of my own channel, so I don't need to read it again. But if you want to read it out, you can. But just read that poll, and it pretty much lays out what everyone knows and thinks. They're just not allowed to say.
I'll read it out, Chair, for the viewers, because they might not have seen the episode 2.
I might as well. So the question is, your position.
Hi, guys.
Hey, sir.
I'm just reading the poll thing out because I was asked to. So the question is, your position on the New Zealand mosque issue. Option 1, I'm not allowed to publicly speak about what everyone knows is the truth because my country has already been invaded and taken over. Hate speech. 365 votes. Coincidentally, the same days in a year. Option 2, Islam is the religion of peace. 3 votes. Option 3,
Luna, there's actually, this option 3, there's actually, people in Australia will know what I'm saying here because Mark Latham was calling people Luna right-wing nutters and shit over shit that went down a month before, which everyone knows about. Option 3, Luna right nutter, white supremacist, conspiracy theorist, Nazi, racist, sexist, homophobe, pedophobe, inbred, mentally ill, KKK privileged poo-poo. 2 votes. So we got 365 votes to 5.
Wow.
And this is only the people who were brave enough to vote, while the government is threatening to imprison people for 14 years for just talking about it. The government going around raiding people who voted in this poll, and this has all been in the news. Anyone who spoke against the government over this, a lot of people were raided over this. So of those 5 people, there were a few others who voted and removed their vote afterwards. So all these people who voted against vote 1, I offered them all $1,000 to debate me and produce a superior argument in contention.
Okay, so I do have a question for you, Jeremy.
I'll just finish their response though first. In response to my $1,000 challenge, every single one of them just made beheading threats and shit like that. They had no argument. They just threatened to behead me and shit. So they had no argument. So pretty much the only argument is the universal consensus of vote 1. So you can say?
Yeah, so we started about that. That's like the basis of the theory that like after a few hundred years, because we have like a lower birth rate, and in some countries they have like a bigger birth rate, that we will completely die out in the end. That's kind of the basic of the theory.
It's not a theory; it's a well-documented fact, and it's been going.
Well, about the birth rate is well documented. That is true. So I
can link you to like hundreds of hours of videos, a lot of my own videos on this, documenting and proving this conspiracy.
No, because I know about the lower birth rates here. That is because they say that is because people have careers and they are rich now.
This is intentional. This is intentional, systematic genocide, and it's worse than they're letting on. It's worse than the government letting on.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you about it from that end. Why do you think the birth rate in Europe is lower? The birth rate in the West is so much lower than it was in the past, because it used to be like Catholic.
The white race is being systematically genocided intentionally in the biggest of all conspiracies.
Yeah, but in what way though? I mean,
from every single angle. For example, LGBT cult. It's been pushed on the West to destroy the family unit. And feminism is used in the West to destroy. It's all the same ideology from different angles. Feminism is used to turn women against men. Especially white women against white men. Islam is being pushed in a Sharia takeover to subjugate the white race. White people are being taxed, and their taxes are being massive oppressive taxes are being funding immigrants who don't work or don't contribute whatsoever. Muslims in Australia are literally given 4 mansions. They are given 4 mansions, while white people who are unemployed are on the street homeless. Every single angle, the white people are being attacked in their own country, and they're being invaded and taken over and genocided from every angle. So this is not just one thing.
But Chad, did you really found Anonymous? Because we got Mark here, and Mark is
and I've got a lot of evidence and a lot of stories. So what I say to people,
you're older than Mark, yeah.
I'm the founder of Anonymous. I started this. When it comes to terms of origin of Anonymous, I'm older than anyone. As for my physical age, I'm 41.
No, I meant not old as in like your age. I meant as in how long you've been,
Yeah, well, I started it, so I'm older than everyone when it comes to Anonymous. But what I say to people is, I come out of the shadows as a founder for a reason. I say, look, I have a story to tell. Listen to my story. It's an 11-hour movie. Start with that. After that, you got any questions, you want to go through more evidence and story and all kinds of stuff behind this, we'll go through it. I've got tons of shit. I'm more than you could hope to digest on this stuff. I'm not without evidence. I've got piles of evidence, witnesses, all kinds of stuff. But I ask people to first just hear my story out first.
Yeah. Most of the world think the 4chan was the beginning of Anon. I'm right, aren't I, Mark?
And it didn't start at 4chan. It was brought to 4chan. I've got a long, detailed story of what actually happened. And it's best to review my movie first. Sorry?
like way before like 4chan, like
there was 2chan.
What I've learned, like, well, and even before that, like what I've learned, if what I've learned is right, is like it kind of started as sort of like a secret society. It was like, you know, like street ops type stuff, and like the women, you know, be in like black business dresses or whatever, and the men in suits and red ties, and that's kind of where it started, really, is what I have learned, if that's right.
Yes, that's right. And it was brought to 4chan against my will. I resisted for a long time. I didn't want them to do it. And they kept begging me to do it. And I wasn't even in support of making the anonymous logo in the first place. But they kept on insisting. So I had to change a lot of things. I had to do a lot of things, to keep things on track. And they insisted on doing this 4chan thing. They wanted to recruit on 4chan. They first recruited on a Japanese image board. 2 of them did. And they were very successful. So they came back to me in consensus to bring it to 4chan, and I warned them of what would happen, and what happened. And there's a long story to this.
I think you do have to make a difference between that secret society, as you guys call it, and the concept of anonymity, of course, because
the secret societies are anonymous to everyone outside of it.
Yeah, but the general method of using anonymity for certain things, for protests and to stay safe and stuff, of course, is a much older. It's like ancient.
Yeah. Yes, of course. But when you say the word anonymous as a noun or an adjective, it means 2 different things. And when you look up the word anonymous, you don't find things on just simply anonymity. You find references to a specific thing, a noun, a group, which is different, completely separate. Of course, anonymity didn't start with anonymous at the turn of the millennium. Anonymity has always existed. The animal kingdom has been hunting other animals anonymously in the dark for millions of years. Of course, Anonymous didn't invent the concept of anonymity, but it does use it, and the reason for the use of it being called anonymous, I named it for a reason, and that reason wasn't simply because of using anonymity. Anonymity was to be used for a reason, sure, but it wasn't named anonymous simply because it only meant anonymity or it was centralized around anonymity. It wasn't. It was called. I called it anonymous because it wasn't supposed to have a name. It wasn't supposed to have an identity or a label.
Right, to like remove all the stereotypes so that you actually like get the message and not.
I'll give you just a couple of memes and stuff that I've made, graphics on this. I've made on this.
Basically, what I grew up to know as anonymous was like 4chan, and trolling was anonymous on 4chan.
Which most people have grown up with that, yeah, and it's a myth. Okay. I'll just send you a couple of pictures. Mark, if you remember, I'll link you this too. I'll actually link you to this. I'll give you a link.
Yeah, it might be.
You and Mark, I think Mark is just as old as you. I don't know which one of you is.
I don't know.
Mark is older.
The real deal. Because Mark is Green Man, Jeremy. So he's you saying you're older, yeah?
Well, Green Man happened like maybe about 2 days after Anonymous was brought to 4chan, and we talked about it in the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mark wasn't you.
Well, I've heard Casper talk about Jeremy Martin a lot. I don't know if you know who Casper is. He came in here and spoke the other day. Yeah, but he has spoke about you several times, Jeremy. But I didn't know that was you when I first came on the show. But if I had an elder or something like that to consider an elder, it would be Mark, because he's the oldest one that I personally know, or have even spoken to through this whole ordeal. So yeah, I do like the fact that it separates, you from color and anything else. That's what Anonymous is about. It's about, individuality, which is absolutely great. So, but that's that's what I know about Mark. But like I said, I've heard Casper speak on you several times, and now I got to meet you. So this is pretty cool to me.
So I just sent a couple of images, and at the bottom I sent a link to a video. That's Anonymous symbolism. It's been renamed by Secret Anonymous ID, and their copies of Anonymous, the true meaning. But I'm the one that made that video. I can actually prove I made it if you like. But that explains the symbol of the logo of Anonymous and some history of Anonymous that went completely against the narrative. A big war was fought over this, and ended up with a universal agreement. I can show you how tons of mirrors were shut down in this war.
Stephen Daniels. He's the first one on Facebook who actually murdered it. He got attacked over it, and he had to shut it down hours after it. That's where the big war over this started. But this explains the symbol of Anonymous and what all the symbolism of it means.
We know Stephen.
I made that early in the Manhattan campaign. I made that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not here to judge about that, Jeremy. All I'm saying is...
I'm giving you this stuff if you want to look it up, or if you want to save links to it or whatever. I'm showing...
I'm just saying, from the hacker world, from the hacker community, obviously you need anonymity if you're doing
not necessarily, things. Because not all hacking is illegal, but...
No, but I mean,
not universally, but generally, I agree with you,
You use, nicknames or whatever, and you use, you try to stay anonymous in the sense of hiding your connection and stuff to targets and such things, and then... later on, you have street protests, and if you're talking about Chanology, right, against Scientology, people who were being harassed and sued and threatened, and they just needed anonymity too. So, for me personally, it is just a way for everyone to be able to use this to stay safe, so to speak. So. I'm not going to judge about all that backstory you tell me.
What you're saying about Chanology and stuff. I've got a lot of this is actually in my 11-hour movie. I explain my role in that.
Yeah, because when I come into Anon, which was back in late 2007 when I first ever got into Anon, but before Anon I was an anarchist. So I've been an activist probably since I was about fucking 17. 18, so, but then I didn't really follow Anon until I was about 2007. So I'm pretty old fag. I'm not as old as Mark and you, but I'm pretty old. But I was always brought to the ways that Chris Poole started Anonymous. Christopher Poole, mute.
That name rings a bell. Someone brought it up yesterday. I can't remember who he is, but the name rings a bell. So many.
Yeah,
I try not to focus on names, but
he was the creator of 4chan, so to speak. So.
Okay, that must be why I remember the name.
Yeah, I think he works at Google.
I'm
now.
Drowning in names and labels and data. I have to prioritize, and I forget what means what because I don't keep track of it.
It's pretty much when they declared 4chan to be totally dead when he went to Google.
Yeah.
He's an employee now. And we had the Gamergate before that, people moving to 8chan and all that stuff. So yeah.
2009 we had Lulsec, didn't we? And then they were bad as well, weren't they?
Yeah, people arrested, people snitching each other. So
yeah, I've got I've been providing images and links here. I've got overwhelming amount of information that I can offer. I don't want to drown anyone. Nopix can testify to that. I don't want to drown people that with too much information. So what I usually say is, I have an 11-hour story. If you can find the time across days or whatever, see if you can find the time to listen to my 11-hour story to frame the picture. And after that, if you want anything else, I can give you 6 months of shit to go through. So
I debated you 1,000 times back then when we were on the whole Manhattans. I debated you all the time. These guys, all of you, and then you added me to the group chat, and they were actually nice people.
Were you there? Did you witness what happened? I'll give you an image here to show. Did you witness what happened? You know the Anonymous Consensus group?
Yeah, I know.
Did you know about the big showdown that happened? All the people who had infiltrated all these groups and they were taking down the groups, and the big showdown that happened between me and a whole army of black hats, and the big war that happened in the Anonymous Consensus, and I exposed them all, and let's find Thor. And there's a big showdown that happened there.
Oh my God!
Thor was central to it. He wasn't a ringleader of it. He was a puppet. But I will show you something.
Thor loves an argument, doesn't he, Mark?
Yeah.
I put a bunch of images.
He comes online, he's all calm, then he has a few combs of his bong, and then his head's gone.
There's just a little image of Thor back in the before the big showdown.
Oh right, you posted things, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember that, Jeremy, for sure. Everyone was fighting over that, and people were all thinking, who are these Manhattans and what are they doing on...
I've got a lot of really funny images of what happened over all that.
Oh, 4 is so bossy. You had me and Mark.
I know that you were there.
You had me and Mark running around like fucking blue-ass flies when we were in fucking Anon Live. Didn't he, Mark?
Yeah. I think I was called an infiltrator like a billion times until I actually put the stream of Amsterdam Mass March on his page. He was very happy.
And kids. We were called kids as well, weren't we?
Yeah.
You kids. Too, yeah. You kids. That's all you ever used to call me, you and Lucas. You kids. Get to work.
Yeah, but he's a lot calmer now. He's
yeah. This was a long time ago. This was back in 2015. This was just after Occupy, wasn't it?
I don't know if you know what happened, Mark, but late 2016, the whole Manhattan campaign, I was getting like assassination attempts and shit on a regular basis, framing attempts, 30 police at my door every day trying to intimidate and trying to arrest me and shit. All kinds of shit, and I was doing the Manhattan campaign through that, not knowing how long I got left. So in late 2016, their final desperate court case against me after I released a whole bunch of files to the media, the police were waiting outside the very courtroom in case they failed their court case against me, which they didn't succeed in their court case at all. So I walk out the courtroom and a crowd of police were waiting outside the very door. They kidnapped me, imprisoned me for a year without charge or trial, and tortured me and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, so you were in jail and tortured, and then
throughout 2017, from the end of 2016 and throughout to late 2017.
And that was around the time that Red Manhattan went on ABB show.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So he would have went on the ABB show shortly after he found out because I disappeared. No one knew what happened to me. No one knew I was kidnapped for a while until it was a while later that I managed to leak some information out and get some people to contact him. So it would have been that he would have went on the ABB show shortly after he discovered what had happened to me, and he was really broken over it. Like he wasn't really speaking much at all about anything. He didn't even bring up the fact that I was in prison. That's how defeated he was over what happened to me.
I don't even remember what that show was about back then. There was so much. There was like 4 hours of talk. I don't even remember anything anymore.
Some people had a go at him over some conspiracy theories over the Manhattans, and he didn't really produce much of an argument against it. Like I can do that now, but he wasn't prepared to really make any speeches on anything because he was so broken over what had just happened.
So one thing I did like about the Manhattans, and that was the fact that everyone was wearing a Guy Fawkes mask, which I'm fine with, but there were also a lot of people making money with Guy Fawkes masks.
Yeah. That's right. All these, in talking about like Anon HQ and all these other websites. Anonymous Official on YouTube.
Yeah, I was
they did a lot of shit to me too. Sorry?
Jay, if you're the founder of Anon, why the fuck are you wearing a Guy Fawkes mask? Because that's new fag.
I resisted using it. Look, I didn't even have a Guy Fawkes mask for a very long time.
Mark?
I didn't have a Guy Fawkes mask for a long time, but there is a reason to use it when necessary. But I was very reluctant. I actually went over. Do you guys know Jeff Childers? I had a long conversation with him and explained to him in public, with you when he asked me in public over this, and I explained. Why, and he shared my answers and everything around to let everyone know why. I was very reluctant to use the Guy Fawkes mask, but I eventually did adopt it, not for the same reasons as others, for very different reasons. And basically, it's like this. I use the meme of Dr. Manhattan instead of the Guy Fawkes mask. That's why we're the Manhattans, right? We differentiate. Differentiate.
It's just like New Bloods. They misconstrue the meaning. Like all these new flags now, they're on Facebook. So if you want
to know why we use a Dr. Manhattan meme, we'll first watch the movie Watchmen, and then go through my life story, and you'll really understand why I use the Manhattan meme, all the symbolism to it, and everything. What it means something. Very important. It means something.
Can I finish what I was saying? So basically, people on Facebook, they're like new flags. They're wearing like the Guy Fawkes mask in a wrong way. They're wearing it as in like, Guy Fawkes was a legend,
Yeah,
but basically Anon was taking the piss out of Guy Fawkes and dangling him over Scientology, wasn't he, Mark?
The mask got adopted as someone was handing out Guy Fawkes mask by freak coincidence during Scientology and the Scientology thing, and that's where the people decided to adopt the mask. It wasn't. They didn't start out as trying to make fun of Guy Fawkes or anything. No, but people adopted Guy Fawkes mask without knowing who he really was. He was a double-crossing infiltrator and terrorist and shit, and he was like an epic fail too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's how we called him too.
Abby. Yeah.
And so you guys, from your accent, I'm sure that you guys know about Guy Fawkes Day because of where you come from. But the rest of the world doesn't know about Guy Fawkes Night.
No,
they don't know anything about
Guy Fawkes.
That's the weird
thing. The weird thing is, Anon uses the 5th of November and that, but we all looked at Guy Fawkes as a joke. It was a troll. They were trolling him.
Yes, but see, this happened at Scientology in Australia and America, and these people didn't know who Guy Fawkes was. So maybe where you guys come from, that's how you took it. But the majority who are in America and Australia, where a lot of this Scientology stuff went down, they didn't know anything about Guy Fawkes like this. They adopted the mask by just coincidence. Someone was handing out these masks on the day, and they adopted it for different reasons. But
if you go watch the movie The Watchmen, it's a really good movie. I'll recommend you watch it anyway. But if towards the end of the movie, Dr. Manhattan gets blamed for nuking the world, and he took the blame, and he basically took the blame and wore the face of a villain, basically. In order to bring peace on the world, he took the bullet.
Can you link us?
So for me to wear the Guy Fawkes masks, it's like the same thing. If I need to wear the mask of a villain and be portrayed as the most evil person in the world in order to save this world, I'll damn well do it, because I've been doing that my whole life. If you listen to my life story, you'll see I've been labelled as a villain my whole life. I'm the most despicable, evil piece of shit in the world. If I need to do that to save the world, so be it, I'll do it. I've been doing it my whole life. I don't give a shit about reputation. If the world has to hate me in the process, so damn be it. So I have no problem wearing the mask of a villain, Guy Fawkes, if I have to, I'll damn well do it.
So can you link us to that Watchman video? Can you put that in the... Can you link us to the Watchman video?
You might have to torrent. I don't think it's... I'll have a look right now, see if it's on YouTube. This is like... There's more symbolism to this movie than The Matrix. But because of bad advertising and shit like that, it completely went under the radar, and a lot of people didn't know about it.
Right.
So Jeremy, how do you feel about that whole QAnon thing then?
Okay, I have one statement that I keep repeating over this. Q is irrelevant.
Okay,
so
well that's
Q. What this Q stuff is? Okay, do you know what Q is? Do you know Star Trek? Do you know Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Yeah, but I got another thing about Q. I'm going to tell you afterwards, but go ahead.
Okay, do you know who Q is in Star Trek?
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate troll. That's what Q is. The ultimate troll. So Q is saying, what is his message? Saying, trust the plan. Hey, don't you fight back. Don't you do anything. Just sit on your ass and watch the show and don't do anything. Let us handle it and trust the plan. That is the worst thing you should be doing. You need to be getting off your ass and doing stuff. Not sitting on your ass and watching the show.
Okay, I got another thing about the Q, and I've never said this on any show, but I did release it on Twitter before, and that is, I don't know if you guys ever heard about the book Q from Luther Blissett. There's a European book. So we talk about Guy Fawkes being like a Catholic infiltrator, right? He tried to put like he tried to do the job for the Pope to bomb Parliament and stuff, and bring like back the Pope's rule over England.
Yeah. And he epic failed.
So, he epic failed. Yeah, and but Q is a book, and it is about a guy who is present at like all the big wars in Europe, and he is anonymous, so to speak. There's not a name given to him. But he meets a guy, and the name is Q, and he's also present at all these battles in Europe. And the entire book is about them exposing each other's anonymity. And this Q comes from the word Kohelet, which means priest or prophet. And he is also working for the Pope. the Catholic infiltrator. And he's present at all the wars, and this entire book is about them exposing each other's anonymity, and the backstory behind Q. And if you search for the book, is actually a dancing skeleton with a musical instrument. And he is like rallying the masses to go to war. This Kohelet figure, which is so the name Luther Blissett was not a real person. There was actually 4 writers, and they used the fake name Luther Blissett to write this book. And that pretty much was their way of being like anonymous. And they changed it into another name now. I can't pronounce it. It's a Chinese word, but the Chinese word actually means anonymous in Chinese. So I'm just considering that this whole Q theory, besides what you said, that other Q in Star Trek is a troll, it's obvious, so it must be a double meaning or something, but I'm pretty sure that they also took a large part of that from this book. And because I was especially shocked by the whole link between Q being a Catholic infiltrator too.
Well, I'm being told that Q is a woman, and Q stands for Queen.
Well, from this book, at least, I've read this book in the past, long ago. It was very popular in Europe for a while. Not so much anymore. But in this book, it stands for Kohelet, which is a prophet or preacher, and he actually takes that role on the channels. So, but it's all possible.
Well, some are believing that Q is the Queen of England. I have no idea why, but that's what they're passing around on Facebook right now.
All the more reason to realise that Q is Q from Star Trek: The Next Generation. The ultimate truth.
Yeah, well, I would advise people not to follow it. So that is one thing we can agree on. I mean,
but it doesn't actually matter what Q is, who Q is, or what Q is saying, because Q is irrelevant. Don't trust the plan. Stop being diverted and delayed into just sitting down and not doing anything. You need to rise up and start doing things and start learning about what's going on in the world and doing something about it. Don't trust the plan. You need to be actively part of the solution. It's a delay to get you off what you need to be doing. So Q is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Q isn't really solving anything. All Q is saying is sit back down and let us handle it. Don't do anything. Isn't that what your enemy would want you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
So even if Q was one of the good guys and was true about everything, what Q is doing is... What's that?
That's my seatbelt dinger, guys. Sorry, I'll mute my mic. My bad.
So what Q is doing is basically the worst possible thing. He's like, Q is doing exactly what evil would want you to do, regardless of Q's intention.
Well, and this Q guy is certainly backed by some powerful groups. I mean, they use botnets with a lot of bots, and it's these are some old hacker crews backing him, and it is very shocking sometimes because I saw them create a YouTube account, and it had almost 300,000 followers like in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And these were all bots. It's impossible. These were humans. This is not organic traffic. I saw them like maybe posted like 10 times or something. It wasn't viewed a lot. These posts.
Well, we too.
Yeah, so they're using botnets to actually get on top of the rankings of the videos. If you search for Anonymous, you find Q stuff now. Except for, of course, that other damaging thing, Anonymous Official. You find that one too, Jeremy.
Yeah, Anonymous Official is just clickbait, and most of their views are not legitimate views.
No.
You know what Anonymous Official does? A lot of their videos, either in whole or in part, they rip off other people, and then what they do is they upload it, and then they false report the person who originally made it to get their account shut down.
And they ask for money. They sell stuff.
Yes, and they're just money-making scam. I've got a long history regarding these third-party websites regarding Anonymous. There's a long story there to be told. I've actually got some videos regarding it. But the thing is,
if someone wants to make anonymous merchandise and like with cups and t-shirts with anonymous symbols on them and sell them for money and stuff, that's fine so long as they don't say that they're anonymous. So long as they make it clear that they're a third party who is not directly associated with Anonymous, but they're providing anonymous related materials like with shirts with anonymous stuff on it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they go saying that they are anonymous and then they try and present themselves as some kind of authority on the matter, and they're trying to scheme and direct traffic towards them as being some kind of anonymous base of operations, and then they're selling your shit and they're making money from ads and shit like that's not okay.
Right, that's always like a flag for me when I see like merchandise and stuff for sale, because like I know what like I came in under like CPS foster care reform, like that's my home place, and like we do some merchandise, but we don't do it as anonymous. Like you might see some of the logos or something that we like use in some of our videos or on our channels or whatever on our merchandise in the Teespring store, but we do not in any way like use any of the anonymous symbols.
There's nothing just
for that reason.
There's nothing wrong with merchandise. It can be a good thing. That's why I explain to people when all this stuff happened, when these third-party websites started in the first place a long time ago, is I explain to them, look, we all agree that Anonymous is against copyright and the patent system and everything, right? Well, why are you trying to copyright the Anonymous symbol if you're against copyright?
Exactly.
So, and when it comes to merchandise and stuff, you don't have the right to control. Look, if you go to eBay right now, you go look up a T-shirt with Superman, Batman, X-Men, Titanic, anything. You can get shirts from third parties on anything, and no one cares. Yet you want to try and install a monopoly of copyright and patent system stuff that Anonymous is supposed to be against, when the very people the very copyright bullies, they don't even give a shit about people making shirts with their stuff on it. Yet you would be worse than the copyright bullies that Anonymous is supposed to be against. You know, people don't think this stuff through, but when you go through them, they'll understand is where the line is of right and wrong. But people have never thought this stuff through. It's not that it's difficult to understand; just people have never actually really considered that.
Thought about it, right?
I'm all for merchandise regarding Anonymous. It helps Anonymous. So long as it's not done from a pedestal of Anonymous, that it's just some third party. That's all fine. I see it as a good thing. I mean, I've got Anonymous merchandise that I have myself, a whole bunch of shit. Look, I'll show you. It's an image. Like I bought this stuff from third parties. I don't see anything wrong with that. So long as it's not like an anonymous website trying to promote themselves as being anonymous themselves and some kind of authority on the matter. Which is what these websites are doing.
Website.
Like Anonymous HQ and all that. That's what they're doing, which is wrong. They have crossed that line. Where's my...
So I ask a question then, like regarding that and like some other issues that we won't even dread up right now. So since there is so much of this, I don't even really know what other to call it at this point than maybe like fake and non of things like that. Like, do you see us having to like do something drastic to like make a separation of like who and what is really like doing things of the idea and these third parties that really are not? Like, how do we address this?
Perfect question, and I have good answers for
that. Keeps getting bigger and bigger, it seems. It might be my headphones, guys. I might have to disconnect them. Are you guys getting feedback from me?
Oh, I'm here and you're fine. So that's a very good question to ask, and I've got a prepared answer for that. So I started the answer to this when the beginning of the Manhattan Campaign. So in the beginning of Manhattan Campaign, I said that war is coming, and it is a good thing. Let go of the false unity. Division is good.
Right. And I must admit I'm only at the Manhattan Campaign in your story, so maybe I shouldn't be asking questions, but that's not what you asked us to do, but it occurred to me right then, so.
I said that this division was coming, and it was a good thing. And I was here to bring about that division. And I did so. And so there are a lot of toxic people who would infiltrate and covertly taken over anonymous groups with their ideologies and stuff, like New Age cultists and Muslims and stuff like that. Oh, beeping again. So there are people like, for example, George Lennox, for example. I was friendly with him at first. I tried to reason with him, and he was doing a lot of evil shit on the sly, behind the scenes, and then he would put on this public image of being peaceful and unity and stuff. He's a very toxic man, and he was on the Anonymous Bites Back show with Rick Rickson, Mr. Red, and I was really disappointed that Rick didn't stand up to him because he was so broken over what happened to me. And I have stood up to him since, and I had him on my personal Facebook, and I stood up to him and I put him in his place, and I showed him the lines of right and wrong, that what he was doing is wrong. And what does he do? The censorship, the smear, and the blocking and stuff like. He won't face me. He won't discuss anything with me. He'll talk shit. He'll pretend to be all peaceful and stuff, and then he'll do evil shit on the sly. So he'll be evil behind the scenes, and he'll put on this big act of false peace, love, and unity, New Age shit. The false peace, the false.
What was he doing? What evil shit was he doing on the sly?
He was vandalizing websites. He was smearing people. He was doing false police reports. All kinds of evil shit like that. Just vandalism, typical vandalism, black hat shit. DDoS attacks, a lot of DDoS attacks. Just censorship.
Well, isn't he
He was going around trying to censor everyone.
Isn't he the Hate Factory?
Sorry?
That's fine.
I didn't hear what you said. Something about Hate Factory.
Isn't George Lennox the Hate Factory?
No, he was one of the ones, or one of the New Age people going around going peace, love, and unity crap.
Well, yeah, he does that now.
Yeah, he's a fake. He's a toxic fake. Now I've tried to give him a voice. I've tried to give him a pedestal and a voice, and to try and reason with him. But he's just very toxic. He won't debate. He won't discuss. All he does is just promote all this toxic shit, fake love shit, fake love. And then when he does that with one hand, he'll probably put it on this.
He does it very well.
And then on the other hand, he's stabbing people in the back.
There's a lot of that.
I use him as an example because there's a lot of these people doing this.
Yes.
He's just one example of it. Sorry? You cut out, Jay.
I'm surprised Mark hasn't said a word on this one yet.
Am I still cutting out, guys?
Yeah, we're hearing all kind of, Sarah, we're hearing all kind of stuff, coming in and out of, I don't know what that is, actually.
I went inside the gas station to pay for my fuel, so that might have been.
That's what it was. Yep. We heard you pay for your gas.
Yeah, and my phone was charging, so I couldn't really take it with me. So, as somebody who's fairly new, I've only been in going on 4 years now. So, I see a lot of these attacking and all this stuff that we're talking about, and it's not good for more than one reason. I mean, I understand where Jeremy's coming from about the division and that it needs to happen and the censorship, and I get that part. But as I've always felt people end up in and on because of, I would say 99% of the time, just to throw a figure out there, because of some sort of injustice that has been done to them or their family, and family.
You're right.
They're looking for help, and then looking for help, you get involved and you start doing things so that you can help yourself and help others, because that's what ultimately comes of it. But with all this bashing and infighting, or however you want to term it, new people who are coming in, looking for help, they're not only lost, they're confused, and it's probably
and they're led astray too. They get led astray by these toxic fakes. They get led astray into dark places as well.
Yeah, and I feel I've been in long enough. I'm not falling for it. I've had a few people that I thought were, as Jeremy would say, maybe a pure heart or moral purpose, that ended up not being. And I'm strong enough in where I am now that I can deal with it appropriately. It's not going to change my focus. It's not going to change how I treat others. It's not going to change what I do or believe in or any of that. But had this been happening to me, 2.5 or close to 3 years ago, when I first came in and really started getting involved, it would have been detrimental for me. I'm so thankful that that my first event was with, and I'm not going to name drop, but that my first event was with some really super old anons that were really street off, back in the day, secret societies type stuff. I didn't even know that these ladies were anonymous until 6 to 9 months later, after they had already been helping me and supporting me. So I'm really blessed and thankful that I've had them in my corner the whole time, because if it wouldn't have been for like having those go-to people that I know I could pick up the phone and be like, hey, is this something that I should be, you know, and they would tell me like, yeah, you're okay, or no, you know, they're spamming parents, or, you know, doing this or doing that, stay clear. Like, not everybody has that.
Yep.
So I feel like that's
Thank you. Yes.
Not everybody is as lucky as I got, and that's really like that. At the end of the day, it is nothing more than I got blessed with that luck. But not everybody has that, guys. And suicide rates are high, and with this kind of stuff going
on,
right. People look to us for truth and for help and for guidance, and it's harmful, you know, to the innocents that are looking for our help. With all
I was asking Jeremy the other day, you know, when people, just like you just said, you know, when they come in and they're new, they were supposed to, you know, or I was told, do your own research, make your own way, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything wrong in pointing someone in the right direction to where they don't have to go through what I went through, at least. I mean, because some of these people are really good people.
And especially in the parental rights movement area of it, which is a huge part of the revolution, because like Jeremy said earlier, like that is their agenda, is to destroy the family unit, you know, and control us. And so the family rights movement has really like made, not really anonymous big, but just the whole thing that we're in, like worldwide, like a lot of it stems from the family rights movement arena. And even in there's so much infighting, and it's always relationship things and the women's right versus father's rights. And at the end of the day, like if you're on either one of those sides, I don't have time for you. And it's not because I don't want to help you, or perhaps even, you know, like you as a person or any of that. But if you're not focused on what it's about, which is our children, you know, and the greater good of humanity and time, then I don't have the capacity to deal with it. Like, I'll just not pay attention to it, because I feel like when we pay attention to all that, that feeds the fire a little. And it's hard sometimes, especially when it's happening to like somebody that you're really close to, you know, or you know, been involved with. It's hard to not get involved, but ultimately, like, I just try to steer clear of it as much as I can. It's not like something you can completely stay away from. Obviously, like that happened to me this morning, but even then, like, I still didn't change who I am or like what was said to me. Like, I still addressed that person and the instance and the situation at hand as I would anything, with as much respect as I could in a matter, you know, and what's going to be is what's going to be. And if that person feels like they need to dox my account or slander my name or put all my information that's going to be public out there anyways, like, that's okay. Go ahead. Like, I haven't been publicly exposing
exactly
3+ years because I'm the one with something to hide. At the end of the day, I know what I've done and what I'm doing is right. So, you know, like, because I choose wisely, there's no offense here.
Something I'd like to say about DDoSing. So, everyone knows Anonymous is so heavily against censorship, for freedom of speech, against censorship, right? So when all these so-called Anonymous go around DDoSing everybody and threatening to do it, they're for censorship. They are like enemies of Anonymous.
Yeah, because they want to control the narrative.
Yes. What's all these DDoSers? They are the enemies of Anonymous. They have nothing to do with Anonymous. So, on side of that point is, nowadays, I've said this in other videos, so I'll say this again, if Mark's still here, so he'll understand what I'm saying, is today, and I said this would happen at the start of the Manhattan campaign, I said what would happen, and it has happened, is everyone nowadays has their own version of Anonymous, right? No one can explain their version more than maybe a sentence or a paragraph at most. Usually just a sentence is their whole understanding of Anonymous can be summed up that short amount. So here I am, I got like hundreds of hours of explanations of this stuff. So I come out as a founder and I say, look, this is my life story. This is how Anonymous came to be. This is what Anonymous really is. If anyone has the authority to say what Anonymous is and is not, it is the founder. The verified founder. So listen to my story, and you know what happens? People listen to my story, and almost universally, people will come back to me and say, this is the Anonymous I signed up for. I came into this to sign up for this. And then all these toxic people came along, and I got disheartened, and a lot of people had given up after seeing this.
Absolutely.
They think that Anonymous must have died or something because it's been overrun by these toxic scum. And understand, as a founder, I alone have the authority to determine what Anonymous is and is not by what I did and that which I started and the story that explains it. And what happens is almost universally everyone is in agreement with that my version of Anonymous is the true version of Anonymous that they signed up for. And anyone who stands against this and represents all these DDoSing attacks and all this kind of crap, they are the fake Anonymous. It's something that only me, the founder, has the power to determine what is the real Anonymous from the fake.
Well, then, if I can jump in there real quick, Jeremy, and that just kind of goes with, anybody who's kind of doing, the attacking and the infights and all of this stuff, if you just know, the basic, code of what, Anonymous stands for and is, then you know that that's not what it is because it goes against the original code,
Yeah. The thing is, deep down, everyone knows what Anonymous is, what they signed up for in the first place. And everyone has gone, they've inserted their own ideas without realizing and gone off on a tangent somewhere, and they've been misled by all these other people and their versions of Anonymous, and they forgot how they started and how Anonymous started. They forgot where they started of it all. And by watching my life story, it reminds them that this is my version of Anonymous is where they started. That was the real Anonymous. And everyone knows that's the case. And everyone has always known that's the case. They've just forgotten. They just need a little bit of reminding.
Right. And that's what I say, we cannot, we all, fight evil on a daily basis, and we see a lot of it, and we just can't, we have to remember and remind ourselves that we can't let ourselves be taken over by that, no matter how much of it we see or encounter on a daily basis.
So don't see the infighting as a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a separation of good and evil, the true from the fakes.
Right.
So the fight is good. So the stuff with Kevin, for example, it is a good thing to fight here, but to do it the right way. And this is why I ask people to do a certain thing that I can't say here.
He attacked Sarah earlier, and he should.
Yes, let him do it. Let him do it. Let him think that he's winning. Let him think that he's got all this power, and do as I said. And then I do what I said I would do. And you watch what happens, and I'll show you a different way. I'll show you directly, firsthand, a different way of doing things. This is how I built it by doing this. By doing what I'm asking you to do. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm here. I was muting my mic between talking because I have a glitch belt thing, and so I didn't know when I was trying to ding and interfere. But
I was just trying to say that
attacking me today. I'm gonna do what Jeremy said to do. I personally messaged Kevin back a few times. I told him I've never been anything but good friends to you. I have nothing to do with this attacking. I didn't say anything disrespectful or out of line to him about it, and I'm just gonna do what Jeremy advised me to do, and I'm gonna let it lie. If he attacks my account, then he attacks my account, and I'll just make another one. I have my account backed up, so I'm not really gonna lose any of my data. It's all stored in other places. Most of the people that I have relationships with, I have phone numbers or Google or Discord, they all, the super important people know how to find me. And those who need my help or guidance, if my account goes down and I have to make a new one, they'll find me again. And I'm not the only one out here doing what I do. There's millions of it, so they'll be okay with me.
Yeah, but say you're not the only woman he's attacked. He's attacked a lot of women. He's real problem.
I know. Yeah, I know he's a real problem, but I think that
when you were friends with him, he was already attacking. Sarah, when you were friends with him and hanging out with him, he had already turned everyone against him. He was attacking everyone, left, right, and center.
Yeah, and I didn't know that yet because I hadn't seen all that yet. I was gone for 9 months. I was, pretty much illegal with detained. I took the deal, but I just took the deal because I knew they were not going to stop persecuting me until I gave them what they want. So I compromised, knowing that later I can go back legally and get it all overturned. But I spent $200,000. child is still be illegal for me. So, like, at some point I knew I was going to have to make a compromise even though I didn't want to so that I could come back and fight harder. So that's what I did. So I missed out on a lot of stuff, but you know what? I've been following Kevin for almost 4 years now. So he was like, you know, in the first little group of like 8, 9 people that I like really kind of knew. Like, no, I've never met him in person, but like we've had a lot of online stuff, whatever. He's helped me out a few times. So I didn't see all of that at first, you know, and like he was like, oh, I want to address the infighting. So me and, you know, and Ghost, which is somebody from Ghost said, you know, like we did a couple lives and then the next thing I know, there's Illuminati videos and like, and it's just been bad since then. But now that I see him for what he is, like, I just stepped away and like, I still don't wish harm upon him. Like, what's going to come to him is what's going to come to him. I feel like, regardless of
Sarah, you couldn't have been following him for 4 years because he was a.
Well, no, it's like I had
in 2016.
Like 2016, so it's been like 3, I guess 3, not 4
years. Yeah.
Okay, I want to get back. I want to go back to real quick to about Germany.
Mark, guess what Enrico said to me the other day? He said he's really sorry for bringing Kevin to Anonymous. He said it's the worst thing he ever did. That's what Enrico told me.
I don't know. It's just like so much chaos with that. All these people like attacking each other. I can honestly say I'm very happy not to be like on Facebook like since 2017. I don't see it on like on other places. I do see it on Twitter too. People also fighting each other in like very weird ways.
I see a bigger picture here.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
I want to say something real quick, for listeners too. Like, if they doubt your story, right? I mean, I can say like, without confirming anything you're saying, I can say you're certainly a person that deserves to be listened to in many ways. You have a lot to tell, and you certainly come in good company too. Because I've known Stephen Daniels for a very long time, and I know.
Yeah, he called me when I was in prison.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a history with him before that too.
And I know he is one of the few people who has done everything he could to defend what Anonymous is about, and to he exposed people like that other page had like 600,000 followers, was selling membership cards of Anonymous. He was the only one speaking out about this, and he actually threw it all open. These people were all publicly selling membership cards for Anonymous, and they were scamming
all the attacks against NonHQ too.
Yeah, he did that almost alone at first, and
NonHQ tried to initiate a war with me too, and they got their butt hurt so bad.
Mark, was that when we were on Hive together? Was that when we were in Hive?
I think so.
When me, you, and Steven. That's when I met him, wasn't it?
Well,
and that's like Jay, you, and like Mark. Like Ab was probably one of is the first Anonymous like show, like, you know, like especially like live stream that I ever started paying any attention to, and that was because of one that was sent to me personally by a sister from the Million Parent March. So like I look up to you guys and respect like a work and just all the stuff that you have done so much. Like I cannot even express my gratitude truly.
Oh, cheers.
Hello.
I focus mostly on Europe now because there's just too much to do. So
yeah. We used to troll some people live, didn't we, Mark?
Yeah, but I even listen to the Europe stream because, like, you guys really, like, you know yourself, you know, and you address a lot of topics, and you can tell that you do your research, and it's not just, you know, somebody's opinion or whatever. And so, like, you know, I listen every week.
Well, I'm sure we could get the ABP European stream back up now. We got a new streamer now, haven't we, Mark?
We do have a new streamer for Europe.
We can do it, can't we? We've been saying we were going to do it for a while, so I don't see why we can't. Can these guys come on the panel?
Hey, I feel like this show is going great, so I don't see why not. I
mean, it's a great show, but I haven't got a page to bloody stream it from, though.
Do you guys know how long the last one went? It went for 9 hours.
Yeah. Oh my, that's the one I missed.
I've uploaded it on my YouTube channel just before this show.
Four came in and went fucking nuts. He was like, "You're not the founder. You're not the founder."
There's a reason why.
Oh my god.
And I want to listen to it, but like I'm dedicated to like finishing Jeremy's story before I like delve off into any of the rest of the stuff that's come after. Idea. So I haven't listened to it yet, but it is
because you just drowned on the information.
Was it hours of you fighting Thor, Jeremy?
No, it didn't last long. Look, this is what happens. Like wolves who hide among sheep, their disguises burn away in my presence very quickly, and they tweak in my presence very quickly. So Thor, what he tweaked about, he didn't tweak about something about his father. No, he tweaked after realizing who I was of the Manhattans, and I sent a whole bunch of images in the Discord server to show some history behind this. So he freaked out after realizing who I was. That's what made him tweak, because he knows about what happened. He was involved in what happened in the Manhattan campaign.
Yeah. Interesting. So he knows about your history with him.
After seeing who I was.
Well, no, he didn't get scared. He said he was going to fucking kill him.
That's why he went. Why he was talking himself up like a god in chill art. He was puffing himself up because he was scared after realizing who I was and what happened to him in the Manhattan campaign.
You said, "Strike me down, then, Thor, if you're a god."
Yes.
And he just went, "Give me that," and then he reached it.
You broke down in laughter. You couldn't hold it in.
I couldn't hold it in.
He was a god who smokes pot and gets stoned and walks through walls.
I was gone. Mark, you know what I get like when people crack me up?
Yeah.
I can't control myself, can I?
Yeah. Yeah. But I do know, to be fair, I did Thor, he kind of changed. He's not like he was before anymore. He's just, he can be relaxed too sometimes. Like, I don't know. I just don't want to be all negative about him. Like,
just have a look at the night. I think I can't remember what I gave someone the time code of when the Thor thing started. You can have a look at yourself. I think it was Dank that might have given the time code for where the Thor conversation started. You can listen. No, it was you, Jay. I gave you the time code. I think.
Did you?
It was you or Dank. I think it was you. But anyway, it's somewhere in like the 2.5 hour mark, somewhere around there.
I can hear like a chirping bird or something. Can anyone else hear it? It's going ch. I don't know. Oh, stop.
Little birdies in the room.
Someone's
I think it's at like 3 hours 57 or 2 hours 57. It's definitely on a 57 minute. Where
Dank.
It comes in.
Hey, Dank.
It goes on to about 4:20.
Okay.
Have you just been listening, Dank? You've just been listening.
No, I'm on Reddit and I'm trolling on there and I'm playing Pokemon Go.
Oh man, Pokemon Go. That's awesome. That's where you got to like
look for the shinies, man.
You look them around. You go outside and they're on your phone in the actual street, aren't they?
No, I drive around, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can find them, can't you? They just chill.
I drive. I don't walk nowhere. No, I'm spoofing, man, for ages. I spoofed and spoofed and spoofed and spoofed and spoofed. Do you think I'd actually walk? Nowhere. I've got on my laptop, man, and I spoofed the latitude and longitude to what's that? Santa Monica Pier.
All right. Oh,
California,
cool.
And I caught legendaries that way. And then they banned my account, and I got another account at the moment. But yeah, so this is a good show, though, man. I've been listening, really good. No animosity, nothing.
No,
hey guys, with that image that I just put up a little while ago with the logo generator, with all the graphical logos, that's from the logo generator, the graphics generator I made for the logo generator. So if you want a copy of it, just let me know. It's got like tons of graphics you can make on it. I can give you a copy of it.
Here. Yeah, Matt's just come in. Matt, are you there? He is there.
He said he said hello. I'm not sure if he's in the voice.
Hello guys, I'm just lurking.
He's here.
Hey!
I'm paying attention. I love you guys.
Everyone's here now, boys.
Yeah, I think I hear Mark in there. I hear Jeremy in there. I hear Mad Mom in there. So hi guys, pleasure to be with
you. Yeah, Mark is here, I think.
Yeah, I'm
still here. Been a while since I've heard Mark's voice.
Hey, Mark, Matt, man. did you listen? You commented on that $1,000 challenge video on my YouTube. Did you actually watch that video with the percent chance?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are the chances?
What are the chances?
Yeah, like when you go through some of the requirements, what are the chances? they are a scientific impossibility.
Probably buying a $1 lottery ticket with a 1 cent penny and winning the jackpot.
I equated it in the video. I equated it to firing a gun in space from 100 trillion galaxies away and it hitting a bullseye in 400 trillion years.
That's about right. I don't know how many of the guys, like I said, that would actually spend the full. Actually, it's more than 11. I think Jeremy's trying to get everybody to at least focus on 11 hours of his time. Okay, and I completely agree. Before you make a set decision on who he is, what he is, where he's from, blah blah blah. Give me 11 hours of your time. That's
if you just go through just say half an hour of it, you'll get the idea that this is a very well built, meaningful story. And you just watch a little bit, you'll get the idea that this is a story worth watching.
Yeah, and the way that you put it together, in like just a few minute clips at a time, and the music, by the way, I'm on I think going into episode 51 now, and right at the Manhattan series, so the way that you put it together and not too long of videos, and the background music for it is fabulous. It's not I'm almost all the way through it, and I don't feel like I spent 11 hours watching it at all.
I'm going to spend probably another 20 hours. I mean, a lot of these guys on this panel, at least a handful of them. I know Mark knows who I am. Jay knows, a lot. Yeah. Mad Mom, you all know me. I'm going to spend time. I've got questions. You know what I mean? I definitely have got questions. And those that know me know that I will dissect it the best I can. But I see no flaws in what he's saying. I really don't. The timing could not be any more perfect. I can tell you that now. The timing that Jeremy just came into all of our lives, it's perfect. It's fucking perfect timing.
You look at how I came into the server. As soon as I came into the server, I stopped Kevin from doing a mass shooting. Bang! That moment. The moment I came in.
But there is one thing though, Jeremy. Matt is older than you because he's fucking Cult of Dead Cow and you're Anon.
Yeah, well, Cult of Dead Cow is not anonymous. They're separate things.
Well, here's the thing. I am what they call stop. I'm a Cult of Dead Cow enthusiast, bro. I have been around since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mark Lubbers, everybody, all of these guys, we all know a lot of shit from being around. So again, I'm a Cult of Dead Cow enthusiast. I've been around for a long time ago. And, we've watched the foundation of what is now being built. That's what
I feel like a noob. And when you come online, I feel like a noob.
Bro, but you're not. You guys surpassed us, old. You are very well not. Very well not. Don't even say that.
I'm pretty sure, I'm the only noob in here, and I'm so blessed to, be amongst all you elders. I'm still, dumbfounded, how the heck that I, blessed to even be in the conversation, let alone the streams with you guys. So again, thank you, God, aka Jeremy.
Personally, I'm available to as much time. I'll devote every waking moment to every day as much as possible. If anyone has questions for me, wants to talk about and talk about solving problems or anything, I'm available as much as possible. Always have been. I said that when I started the Manhattan campaign. I engaged everyone as much as possible. And people complained about it. They got butthurt because they talked shit, and I would question their arguments and deal with information, and they didn't like being challenged.
Hey guys, let me say this on top of let me finish what I was saying real quick. Is Mark still with the ABB program? Is he still talking? Yeah. Okay, bro. The best thing to do, and you know this, like you do, is keep Jeremy talking. Just keep him talking. Bring him on ABB. Bring him on whatever show, the Matrix Minds show, the We Are Legion show. Just keep him talking. You see what I'm saying? If said story is not true, the truth will soon shine through. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even if my story isn't true, it is still a very important story to watch. Even if it wasn't true, there's still a lot to learn from it, is there not? Even if it wasn't true.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, there absolutely is. Totally. I agree.
But again,
the worst
guys,
case scenario, it's worth watching.
Just give it time, because we all know time, and in time changes everything. Nothing outstands change. Change is the only constant. So with this change, because this is all new to me, all new to you, Mark, all new to Jay, who the fuck's Jeremy?
Yeah.
Well, we're learning. Give it time.
Yeah, and I'm not like other people. I'm not like other people who just come into the picture out of nowhere with a random claim and no evidence and no story. I come with a massive gold mine behind me.
Right.
I come with a rabbit hole, the Wonderland.
Bro, I don't like
I've seen you provide links for everything you said.
With the FBI.
Sorry, can you say that again, Jay?
Jeremy a bit.
I don't like the fact you worked with the FBI.
Yeah, as I said to you, Jay, before, I said, what you haven't gone through that part of my story. You don't know what actually happened. You need to go through that and see what happened, because what you think happened is not how things happened at all. As I said to you before, when it comes to the FBI today, I'm more against the FBI today than anyone. The situation is not what you think it is. You need to go through it, and then if you have any confusion after that, ask me questions, and I'll make my position crystal clear. My position, historically and presently, is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Right. Again,
as I said, there's a reason why the FBI are so bitter and they hunt after anonymous people. It's because of what happened in the past that no one knows about. Because they actually had a role in the creation of Anonymous.
Go on then, tell us.
But it's in the 11 movie.
It's best you watch the movie.
Yeah, that's cool, but tell the viewers. Just to
give you a hint, okay, so I was doing all these interventions and everything that I was doing, right? And that involved, at times I would work with governments and intelligence agencies and stuff like that when I needed to, and other vigilantes. I reached out to people to try and work with them as much as I can. They include governments and stuff. So what happened is there was this massive FBI investigation in the early 2000s, from 2000 to 2001, and I got caught up in the investigation, and people who worked for the FBI, they were watching all over the internet, and they were watching me as well, and they became very focused on me and on what I was doing, and I after watching what I was doing for so long, I won a lot of people in the FBI over to my side. I basically recruited people within the FBI into Anonymous, and this was before the big fallout with the FBI, what happened, right? So I won a lot of people, and there's this big fan club and everything within the FBI over, and I got I built a network of contacts within the FBI. It expanded onto other intelligence agencies and stuff as well. But there was this big following of me and what I was doing in the FBI, and I recruited a lot of people. So the FBI, when 9/11 happened, the FBI were instructed to try and conclude this investigation to prove that the internet was not a safe place, to justify censoring the internet big time and use 9/11 as an excuse. So they were instead of silently studying the internet and what's going on the internet, they were instructed to deliberately try and hack and corrupt and prove that there are no safe places on the internet. I had already won a lot of people, so they were trying to infiltrate me, right? In their effort to infiltrate me, and Robert Mueller went on international TV confessing in humility their utter failure here, and that they learned their lesson not to do this, is they tried to infiltrate me in Anonymous, not realizing that they were already heavily infiltrated to begin with. And the more they tried to infiltrate me, the more I infiltrated them, because they would look at me and what I was doing, and I kept winning them out. They would see, and I would win them, and I would turn them, I would convert them from the dark side to the light side. So, a lot of hierarchy shit happened with shuffling of power, centralized power. They cracked down on internal security. A lot of shit happened, and I worked with a tech in the FBI. A lot happened there, but I still work with someone in the FBI for a while, taking down some bad people, and then I got too sick and I had to stop. And that's where I became a recluse for a little while and almost died, and then I came back again. But I didn't work through the FBI after that. But there's a long story that it's in my movie, and if you got any questions you want me to expand on that outside the movie, you can explain. But understand, back in those days, there were a lot of good people in the FBI. There was bad people too, but the FBI, it wasn't this corrupt mess it is today back then. When 9/11 happened, all the big bosses were changed, power was centralized, a lot of shit went down, and a lot of internal security was added. So it was difficult. It was becoming increasingly difficult. You could do so much back then that you can't do now. It was a lot easier back then, and a lot of evil basically took over the FBI in 9/11 and the US government and a lot of shit around the world. And and it went south, and it just kept going south. Now, Robert Mueller, as fucked up as he is today, even he publicly complained about being given all this power, about the evil that could be done with it. He complained about it himself.
That's mad.
But there's a lot I can say on that, especially with things like Robert Mueller and everything. The FBI went through 3 directors in about 2 months. A lot of shit happened.
That's mad. Should we, guys, should we talk about the ghosts?
He told me the Gold Manhattan. Yeah, the Gold Manhattan was Stephen.
I'll go.
See, what it is, I'll explain. So,
I wasn't going to mention this on air. I mean, it was just in the chat.
Can I just say something about Stephen and the Gold Manhattan? I just want to explain why he was gold.
No, I didn't say that. No, I wasn't saying that. I said ghosts and demons. I didn't say anything about Stephen.
Stephen, we already know. Everyone knows that he was the Gold Manhattan that we recruited. So what happened?
Where did that come from?
I just want to explain.
I was on about ghosts. Okay? And demons.
Man, I just respect him a lot, and I know he's been through a lot too, so I just don't...
Yeah, Mark, I wasn't on about Stephen. Did you hear what I said? Ghosts and demons, I said.
No, someone was talking about Gold Manhattan and everything, which was Stephen.
When?
I just want to mention something.
But when were they saying that?
Just a few messages up. It was...
Really? I didn't say it.
Mark Lubbers said it.
That was me. I was just saying
I just want to comment to that. I just want to say something about that.
Yeah, lag. Guys, I'm getting lag really bad, I think. I didn't hear Mark say anything.
Take an E-laxative.
Take what?
An electronic laxative. Can I say something about the Gold Manhattan thing? Because I just want this to be known.
It is too fucking late now, guys.
Well, first, tell them. I mean, we're talking that behind the scenes, okay? We're all me and Mark saying is things are adding up. And Mark's just said, Marky just verified, hey man, he's been around. I've known him for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this shit's deep, dude. I mean, what Jeremy brings to the table is very deep.
Yeah, because he's saying he's older than Mark, and that's a big statement, isn't it?
Yeah, well, all I can say is that the parts I know and the parts he talked about that I know about are all true. So that's all I can say.
Can I just say something about the Gold Manhattan thing?
Yeah.
So Stephen became the Gold Manhattan. He was one of the Manhattans I recruited. We had a core team from the start, and then we recruited others along the way. I'll just give you just 1 sec. I'll just give you a photo regarding some of this stuff. Just give me a sec.
Can you hear the chirping again? Someone's got chirping going on. I don't know what it is. Weird.
The picture will be up in a sec.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with this.
I'm not hearing any chirping, but I heard a little squeak sound just a moment ago.
Yeah. That's it. It's
like the only time I heard that squeaking sound. It might be a glitch in the sound. So how the Gold Manhattan thing happened with Steve. So there's a bunch of preset. I could take a photo if you want me to, but there's 9 preset colors for the Manhattans. 9 of them. I ended up making a few others like pink and stuff like by request, but there was red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, purple. I think that might have been it, and then I added like black, white, pink, and a couple of others. So what Stephen did is I gave him one of the Manhattan colors, and I think it was yellow that I gave him. He wanted it to be yellow, and what he did is he took that yellow picture and he modified it himself to turn yellow into gold. He changed the color from yellow to gold. Right. He slightly changed it, so that's how he became gold. He wanted to be gold.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a color that I hadn't made yet, and it was after like him and someone else. So he made his from yellow to gold, and someone else wanted to be pink. Instead of purple, they wanted to be pink. So I decided to make a few extra colors on top of that. So I'll just give you an example. If you remember, we're Manhattans. We didn't just have our colored profiles. We had a whole bunch of colored images as well of Dr. Manhattan, all in different colors, and it was all very well organized. So I'll just give you an example. I'll just give you 2. I'll just give you, it's green. I've got a big compilation. I gave this to all the Manhattans, all the compilation of graphics that I made for this. So there's a green version of one image, and like, here's a red version of the same image. I've got this like all in 9 colors. So all the extra colors like gold, I don't have all these colors in gold. I only got the default 9 colors in all these images. But it's just I've got like all these. I went through the movie. I took a whole bunch of different photos from different angles of Dr. Manhattan, and then I converted it into every 9 color.
So all the other Manhattans will confirm that you're the creator of Manhattan, yeah? Yeah.
Who will confirm?
The other Manhattans we know.
The other Manhattans have known me for a long time, and they can confirm from everything they've seen that I'm the founder. But none of my actual core Manhattans were even around with Anonymous to begin with. I've been doing all kinds of things not even the name of Anonymous, and those Manhattans weren't even associated with the label of Anonymous, but they knew things about Anonymous and everything, and my role and all kinds of stuff, and my interventions and stuff, and my historic role. For example, what I wanted to talk about before is the Venus Geist thing that went a long time ago, a big Anonymous campaign with Peter Joseph Morello and Jack Fresco, and that Zeitgeist movement thing, how we shut them down. That happened a long time ago, and no one knows about that. It was a big campaign that no one today knows about, and I was central to that. And one of my Manhattans actually was he knew that I was doing this, and he wanted to witness. So I showed him what I was doing. Gave him entry to see this thing play out. What I did.
Yeah.
So he got to see my Anonymous related role in that, and that was between 2006 and 2010.
Thanks for confirming that, because we also talked about that, Jeremy.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff. There's a big, deep rabbit hole there if you want to go. I can got like links prepared and everything if you want to go through it. See, I've got so much
because
information.
There's United Nations stuff.
I don't want to drown people out with too much information. So, like, if someone who hasn't watched my 11-hour movie yet, I recommend just put everything else aside. Just watch that first. I'm trying not to drown people out with too much information. Matt can testify to that. I've got
tell Mark a bit about that spaceship you were telling me about the other day. You know, when you built the spaceship,
the one that I flew.
You showed me.
Yeah. Which one? I've been in a variety of them. You mean the one that I flew?
Funny to people.
Okay, the one that looks identical to the Black Knight satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I flew. I'll put some images up about it.
You flew a spaceship.
You flew a fucking spaceship.
Yes, there's a deep rabbit hole here, and as bizarre as it sounds, there's actually a lot of evidence and all kinds of stuff. I'll just give you a couple of images. Just prepare for what you're about to see. Okay, so this I'm sending first is the Black Knight satellite, and it looks suspiciously exactly like my ship. Whether it is my ship or something very close to it, you look up the Black Knight satellite. In fact, I tried to get it off the NASA website, and the whole NASA website. Image website went down the other day, so I don't know why if it's back up again. But that's the Black Knight satellite, right? It looks suspiciously like my ship.
And you're from space.
This is what it looks like. This is what the cockpit looks like. This is a drawing of the cockpit, and I can explain how the whole ship operated if you want me to go through the details. I can explain everything in detail.
That's cool. Go on, then. Yeah.
That's what the cockpit looked from a very heavily inclined, big, full body seat.
So that Black Knight satellite, that is actually that picture you're sending is actually from NASA from before, and that is the Black Knight satellite, and they claim it's over 10,000 years old, right? And
they say they say it's 13,000 years old, and actually the thing regarding that ship in my story actually began 13,000 years old, but that ship was not in Earth 13,000 years old. It has not been orbiting Earth for 13,000 years old, but it was the ship. Applies to the story 13,000 years old. So I don't know where they've got the 13,000 number, but there is a 13,000 number regarding this ship. Whether I don't look, there's all these conspiracy theories over this ship, and there must be like a little tiny bit of truth mixed in with a lot of bullshit. So anyway, that drawing I just showed you is what the inside of the ship looks like from the position of the cockpit seat. And if you want me, I can explain how everything worked and everything.
Yeah.
You want me to?
You are navigator.
It was a small one-man ship. It was very cramped.
Jeremy, you're lucky because I can troll really bad. Ask Mark. I trolled some special guests.
Come on, Jay. You know I'm untrollable. You're welcome to try. But just if you try to troll me and you end up butthurt, just remember I warned you.
Mark, I've trolled some like journalists and shit really bad. I'm like,
it was like we had the first time we had like a mainstream journalist on, like he was like farting on air and stuff. This guy left. He was angry because this guy was saying like, no, 9/11 is not an inside job. He was so angry, this guy.
I went to the toilet live.
Yeah. We made the raw call that we invited him on, like to talk about 9/11 conspiracies, and he was on the other side.
Kerry, and then I'd flush the chain.
I can show you some more. Other alien ships looking, all kinds of stuff. I've got a bunch of photos, all kinds of stuff. I'll give you another ship. This is the first ship I went into, right? I'll give you from a bunch of different angles, drawings of what it was like. So that's what it looked like from the front, entering it. Just as, a very generic kind of shape, but the inside was actually quite cool. So this is what it looks like from the view screen, facing the green, the view screen.
How did you get the ship, Judge? Yeah, how did you get
this
the ship?
One here? No, I didn't fly this ship. This is the one I first went into. I was taken somewhere, and that's what it looks like facing the front. So from around the same position, looking backward at the ship, it looked like that.
Went from McDonald's, yeah.
And from above, like a blueprint style from above, it looks like, where is it?
Did they pick you up to take you for a Chinese?
Yeah. Where's that picture?
Yeah, you don't get it. I'm trolling you now. I am trolling.
I told you I'm untrollable.
But it was funny what I said. You said that I said that the spaceship picked you up to go take you for a Chinese.
I did eat a few meals, but what happens? I'll explain what happens in space. Okay, so when you're traveling long distances, you don't want to travel with large amounts of food, right? So all, but most people who travel long distances, they have a nutrient organ in the place of their stomach. I don't know whether stomachs are removed and it's added, or I don't know if it's an additional organ or the whole stomach's replaced. I don't know, but you have a nutrient organ so that you can spend a long time without any food. On top of that, you don't normally eat food. You would take like some kind of pill, a nutrient pill, if you didn't have one of these nutrient sacks, right? On top of that, and on a mobile fortress place where a lot of people met in like a central operations area, it was a mobile fortress. There, you can eat meals, but you don't eat them as general meals. What they were was they were like a cafe kind of style things. There was a whole bunch of them, and you can you don't eat, this is not for general everyday meals. You go there to experience another culture, and you would eat their meal, and they would have to they didn't have a bunch of preset stuff. What they do, they have to get your whole physiology and all kinds of personal details and everything, and then they would be able to give you a menu of maybe 2 or 3 different things, depending what they were able to tailor to you from any given culture. And they would make a meal for you, and they would run you through the culture and the food, where it came from, and some details of the culture. They would teach you some things of the culture. So it was about walking in their shoes. It wasn't like an everyday eating experience thing. But there was the only actual real food you would have would be a pill. That's if you didn't have a nutrient organ.
Oh,
so you can't travel long distances with all this food carrying with you, disposable food carrying with you. Imagine what that's going to be like.
So you're like a time traveler then?
Everyone's a time traveler. Everyone travels forward in time.
Yeah, but you just said the ship is like 13,000 years old, right?
It's older than that. I don't know how old it is, but it's at least 13,000 years old. So what happens when you travel in space? If you were to go from Earth and travel somewhere else, it's going to take a very long time, right? So you travel as fast as you possibly can. Now this ship, how it operated, it would cause some kind of distortion ahead of the ship, and that distortion did 2 things. From the front of the ship, it would work as some kind of shield, so that you wouldn't run into anything that even a micro meteorite or something, it would go through the ship. Your ship's gone. So it would work as a shield from the front, and it would also be as a gravitational force that would pull your ship into it. So imagine you've got an anchor point in front of your ship, gravitationally pulling you forward. So as you go, let's say you did that for a year. You're free falling forward for a year into this distortion thing in front of your ship. So that's how the ship traveled in space mode. It was how it traveled long distance in really fast speed.
Bro, are you quite tall? You're
I'm about 5'8".
Are you? I was going to say because
I'm probably slightly short.
I've seen your face in the taller alien race that I heard about.
There's a whole bunch of them.
They've got different names. Can you name a few? I'll tell you which one.
Okay, the names are useless in English. I had a universal, like a language translator. It was the thing that plugs into your side of your head, and you can install a language.
So, like at first, it was almost impossible to communicate. So, a lot happened, and then I was given one of these, like thing that plugged into the side of my head. It actually plugged into your brain, and it basically added like brain matter to you, like an extra part of your brain, and it will give you that language. It will take a while to connect to it, but once you connect to it, it'll be like second nature. But it's difficult to actually form a connection in the first place. Once you form a connection, it's all easy street. So you would be able to speak a language. So the first language I was given several, but I was given one main language, which is like a universal language, just as like English is to the world today, the universal language. Yeah. Well, they had a universal language. I don't know where it came from or whatever, but it was used because most species were able to currently speak it. It was like a middle ground language, so I don't know where it came from, but it was a middle ground language. It was the universal language, and I was given that language, and I was able to talk to them just like normal after that.
What about your son?
Me?
I'll give you just like I've got a lot of evidence of this stuff. I'll just give you a little sample to show that I'm not making this stuff up. And if you go through my story, you'll know without a doubt that I'm not making this stuff up. And you go through other additional dozens of videos. This is just a little hint.
Yeah.
Here's a CT scan of microchips in my brain.
Wow.
And you can see the positive the input and output to the encasing. And it's attached to my basal ganglia, which is the gateway to memory.
Oh, right.
And as you can see, this is not some bizarre, strange object in my head. It's got symmetrical shape, and it's got two clear input and output prongs to it.
So what planet are you from then, Joe? What planet
Same planet as you. I am the only person, despite my bizarre story, I am the only one who's not claiming to be an alien, who's not claiming to be a god, and who's not claiming to be... what else? The other thing I was going to say, anything apart from a normal human being. Now, as it turns out, after doing a DNA test, I am technically of a different human species, not just a race, but a species. If you look this up, redheads with green eyes, the Rh negative people of the pure bloodline, which I'm one of the remaining few. If there's any others apart from me left, it should be like maybe a few thousand of us left in the world. We have a different number of bones, we've got a different immune system, different number of electrodes in a heart, a different everything. We are technically classified as a different species because we actually have different difficulties breeding with the rest of humanity. Despite we look like other white people, I'm talking about people with dark red hair, not orange hair. They're impure half breeds. I'm talking about dark blood red hair. These are the ancient progenitor race of humans. And it's a long story, so I won't go to the whole thing. But basically, I am technically classified as a different species. I'm human, just like you. You might call me a different human species. I'm not the creation of an alien race or anything. I'm just a different, distant genetic branch from the rest of. I might look like a typical white person, but I am actually more distant to white people than white people are to black people.
So do you think like the elite are like a different sort of alien?
The bloodline. Okay, we talked about these bloodline things, and this is an important thing to put. There's a big myth that I need to explain here, and it's important to explain. So all these Jews, they're all obsessed with bloodlines and the right to rule the world and all this kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they are bastard crossbreeds with one distant ancestor of a pure breed of my race. My race were given the divine right to rule, right? In history, these evil people took over, and what they did is they raped my people, and because what happens when you mix your people with my people, the baby often dies. That's why we're technically classified as a different species, because there are problems interbreeding. We're so genetically distant, and that's why we have a resistance to things like AIDS, because we're so different. We have a resistance to AIDS. Because we're genetically so distant and not compatible.
You can't get AIDS.
We can get AIDS, but we're very resistant to it.
All right.
Look, this is like genetic viruses and stuff work with different genomes. So, like, dogs can get diseases that you can't get, and you can get diseases that dogs can't get because you're genetically distant. That's the reason why. But we do have a stronger immune system. It causes us to have autoimmune problems a lot, like I have.
I know in Scandinavia,
these people who identify as Jews, these are bastard children. They've abandoned all their evolutionary and family heritages and stuff. They just pretend to be this imaginary race that doesn't exist. And what they're doing, they're trying to pretend to claim to be the ancient chosen people, the ancient rulers, which were my people. The ancient rulers of civilization. Sorry?
Yeah, I know in Scandinavia, 1 in 5,000 people has a natural resistance to AIDS. Just real quick. In the area of Scandinavia, 1 in 5,000 people on average has a national immunity against AIDS.
Which applies to the frequency of the people. There's a group of my people, there's a town of my people in Norway, and their genes have been spread out through Norway. My people are actually split up in different small communities around the world. Most of us are actually in Scotland.
Yeah, I just don't know anything about all of this, but
I've got videos on this I can show you later. But like as I said,
you're like a star man, aren't you? You're like
I can drown people in like piles and piles of information. So that's why I recommend just watch my 11-hour life story movie in your own time, at your own speed. Once you're done with that, then we talk about going on to other stuff if you want to look at other stuff. I've got a ton of information on this stuff. I say things that might seem bizarre, but this is all, I've got tons of proof to everything. But it's going to take some time to actually go through because there's a ton of shit here.
Okay, well, but at least you seem convinced of it. I do have a question. Like, I always imagined like a long distance space travel that they would like simply put like the consciousness.
Oh yeah, I didn't finish saying that. I didn't finish explaining. I got off another topic. So space travel. So you go a long distance, right? It takes a very long time. If you can't travel beyond light speed. So the nearest star is like 4 light years away. The nearest star. So you're spending a long time. Even if you went light speed, well, you can't go light speed, but you can go close to it. And the thing is, when you go close to light speed, when you've got like my ship operated, when you've got a gravitational force pulling you forward, and you're free falling in space without resistance for like 20 years, can you imagine the speed you built up?
Oh. Yeah, so I was thinking human bodies can't take this, so they just load like the consciousness in a computer.
No, see, there's not the same with kinetic energy. It's not least when you travel long distances, regardless of kinetic energy, when you travel long distances, you're actually frozen in stasis. There's like a liquid gel kind of substance. You go into it, like if you scroll up to the 2 pictures of my ship, you see the orange thing. That's a patchwork stasis chamber that was put in there. It didn't actually belong into the ship. It was added to there for long distance travel. It was added to the ship. So when you go into this like a almost like a coffin box, and it fills up with this gel liquid, you put to sleep, and you fills up with this gel liquid stuff, and you're frozen for the journey, and then you're thawed out. So if you do this over and over, certain species are more resistant than others. It really fucks with your body and you get sick. And if you keep doing this stuff, you'll eventually die from it, unless you're modified cybernetically to compensate. So when you travel at fast speeds, time goes at a different speed. So it's not just the time it takes from you to go to A to B. For your experience, you go to sleep and you wake up, you're there. But for everyone else, a long time has gone by. So if you go to A to B, you travel anywhere in space, a long time goes by. But when you travel at a fast speed, time flows at a different speed. The faster you go, the more different time flows from you compared to everyone else at points A and B, right? So there's an unpredictable random factor to it. It's not very predictable. So you have to find out whatever kind of clocks or timeline or whatever is going on every time you travel anyway. Time is a bit vague when it comes to predicting. You can't really predict it very well. So while the timeline on different planets operate at pretty much the same speed, you don't know exactly, you can't predict with accuracy when you're going to get there. There's different factors involved that make it unpredictable. So you go from A to B. When you're traveling at a really fast speed, let's just say you didn't go into space at stasis and you were traveling at a really fast speed, through that journey might, for everyone else, it might take, let's just say, 50 years. But because you're going at so fast, time for you, it might take 1 year for you, because time slows down the faster you go. It might be if you spent a year on your ship conscious and not in stasis. But for points A and B, 50 years would have gone by. So there's time dilation as well as the distance, increasing relatively increasing the distance to time. So anyway, basically, it takes a long time to travel anywhere.
Mm.
So if you're going to go somewhere, just say some extraterrestrial is going to come to this world, they're not going to come here unless they have very good reason. And when they come here, they're not going to leave until they've finished what they're doing. They're not just going to go for a holiday. If you go, here's the thing: if you leave your planet to go somewhere, you come back to a new generation of everyone you ever knew is dead. Is long dead by the time you return. So when you leave, you're saying goodbye to, you're permanently saying goodbye to everyone. And if you're unlucky, you come back, your people might be all long gone. You know, there could have been a war or some bad shit happened, or a virus outbreak.
So basically what you're saying is you haven't aged, but everyone else has aged.
Yes, you don't age. Yeah. So even if you weren't in stasis on your ship, if you were just conscious on your ship like normal, you would still be operating at a different speed during the journey. And you wouldn't age as much. So if you're in stasis, and you go through like a 50 to 100 year journey from point A to B, and you haven't aged at all. It's as far as you're concerned, you go to sleep, you wake up because you're put in stasis, you're frozen. And when you go back from point B to point A, it might be another 50 to 100 years. So, you know, traveling from A to B, it takes a long time. So you're constantly, if you're traveling back and forth as a messenger, you're constantly skipping into the future. Do you understand?
But bro, who put you on the ship? How did you get into the ship? Who built the ship? And who were the people that
I don't know. The ship was given to me. I didn't build the ship. I don't know who built the ship. It was given to me. Eventually there were weapons that were added to it for a necessary reason. But in the first half of things, there was no weapons or anything. It was just for traveling. And I entered the ship from the bottom through the middle, near the front a little bit, and it was really hard to get into. It was like you had to basically climb into a really steep incline. And the inside of the ship, the cockpit, was only the only part you could actually enter was the front of the ship. The rest of the ship was all bulky and full of something that you couldn't access. So the only actually inhabitable area was a small cramped area in the front of the ship around the cockpit. And that's why the stasis chamber was packed in the front in an awkward position like, because it was the only place that you could fit it. So there was a storage compartment in behind the place where you would enter in under the ship, towards the middle back area of the ship, and it opened up into a compartment, and that would fill up with the liquid too to freeze whatever was in there as well. But I didn't really use that. I only used it a couple of times. I saw a couple of tiny items, but so aside from the storage compartment around the center back of the ship, there was only the small area at the front that you would inhabit. So that's how you got into the ship, from the bottom a little bit to the front, from underneath. You want me to explain anything more about the ship? I'll explain.
Can I intervene for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to, for a second, to kind of like back him up on, and again, I'm not trying to just like, catalyze his story here, but what I do want everybody to remember is our theoretical physicists in science as we know it. Let's just take, for example, okay, time passes around us very, very fast when we are focused on something that we enjoy, okay? On top of that, we also now know that while we are sleeping, okay, the body doesn't age nearly as fast as while we do when we are awake and experiencing reality. Okay? This is true. This is a theoretical physicist. This is known. So with what he's saying, it kind of like it goes hand in hand with what our science now today is proving to be true.
And I've got proof. If you've seen, I think you might have seen one of these videos showing that I said things about space 2 years before they discovered it, rewriting 50 years of science and astronomy, and I've got proof that I said this 50 years in advance that they were all wrong, that this is certain astronomical phenomenon, and I was right, wasn't I? I proved them all wrong. How could I have known this?
The Andromeda Galaxy. Yeah. See, again, dude, you know, what you're saying, they've got to see the foundation.
That's why you have to watch the whole movie.
Oh my God, dude! But again, it's tapping into everything he's saying. Science now is backing it up.
And I've said this stuff in advance. Like, what are the chances of me saying this and turns out that I was right and they were wrong? All the world's best science and astronomers, 50 years of all this shit, they have to abandon all their measurement tools, everything, and start over. And it turns out I was right. If that's a lucky guess, that's a pretty fucking big lucky guess, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the only lucky guess I've been making, is it?
No. See, a lot.
How many times do I have to be right?
Jeremy, I know that you are against channeling. I know that, as well as you're kind of.
I'm not universally against it. I'm against all this fantasy, new age fantasy bullshit.
Okay, I would say. I mean, there's a lot of us that tap into, especially a lot of.
I don't deny that you can tap into things, and usually it's evil things, but not always. But it's very dangerous.
But you got to discern a lot of the pure hearts that we're talking to right now, dude. They're governed by their internal directional compass. They know the difference between right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that intuition, that guided intuition, that's what I keep saying. Follow your internal guidance system. Listen to your heart. What does your heart say?
I just want to mention the way my ship was not a standard ship, okay? I can't say for certain because I don't know. I'm just like estimating here, but it's possible that my ship was like a really old kind of design, or a lesser advanced kind of design. Because a lot of these other ships, they were like circular kind of disc shaped kind of things. Not all, but most were like that, and they operated on some completely different kind of technology than my ship did. And so my ship was like a hybrid ship. It was designed to be a hybrid, to do both space travel and in planetary travel. So it was aerodynamic and stuff, and it had two different modes. It had a space mode and it had a planetary mode. And once you go into start going into a gravitational well of a planet, the space modes start just slowly not responding less and less until you can switch modes.
Yeah. So were you abducted then by Greys? Like,
I have been abducted, and I've got an interesting story with photos and stuff of an abduction.
Let's talk about
that. But the story as my alien story is not about abduction. No. I was contacted and went of my own will, but I have been abducted by other third parties.
Government,
and I was injured as well.
Yeah.
Hang on, so just see who's that, Mark. Okay, Mark. Yeah, it's me. We're talking about stuff like Matt's actually gone through my story, and he'll tell you the same thing. You need to listen to the whole 11-hour story just to get a framework, and then after that, I can show you a lot of stuff. He's started going through a lot of that stuff. So we're talking about stuff that's in my story and stuff that's actually got evidence and stuff that might sound a bit crazy, but you need to go through this stuff to see for yourself, to be able to understand. So you need to start with the 11-hour story to be able to understand. So just be patient, and when you get around to it, watch that story, and you'll eventually start to begin to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds.
No, I'm trying to make like a general assessment of it. Like, I don't know anything of this, like about this whole space travel thing. Only the documentaries you watch like on YouTube and these things. So, but the only thing I'm noticing is that you are very convinced of it, and you're explaining things so fast that it is either you studied all these things, like you know exactly what you have to say, your story, or you are not imagining this at all. You are just telling
I'm clearly not some crazy incoherent person indulging fantasy. If I'm wrong, then I'm definitely not crazy. So either I'm right or I'm a psychopathic liar who's very talented at lying. It's either it's one of those.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to
I'm clearly
say
not
about
being
it,
incoherent.
Like, would you have people who are like inventing a story, and someone asks them a question, and they have to think a little about what they're going to answer? But you are answering it like instantly, so that is
and they're incoherent and inconsistent with their answers too. And they can never give you any details. I can give tons of details. That's why I said I can explain the whole ins and outs of that shit.
Wow. Guys, I got a question for Mark, because Mark's been on ABB for so long. Bro, Mark, out of curiosity, have you guys ever talked to or interviewed someone from the MK Ultra program?
No, never.
No? Okay. I've had some guests on the Matrix Minds, right? And the only other, I'll say this as just another alternative. I don't know Jeremy very well. I'm learning Jeremy, but the only other possible probable thing that I can come up with.
He's a super soldier.
That this man has been abducted. This man has went through an MK Ultra program. Yeah. And now he is reliving and telling his programmable program.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm not denying that. It's possible that I could have just been in some massive conspiracy, somehow brainwashed. And look, I've shown pictures of I've got microchips in my head. I've got CT scans.
Exactly.
So someone has done, regardless of what's happened, someone has been tinkering with me at least. And it's a matter of, am I a puppet or am I a puppeteer?
Well, Jeremy, hang on.
It's the right thing to be neutral on it and not to decide and just investigate from a neutral perspective. Don't just come into this blindly believe. I'm not asking you to blindly believe.
I would say you're like a puppet for the government. If you're a super soldier,
it's possible. Yes, it's possible.
You are part of. There's a lot of people like you, and it will form an army, and you will be used as a weapon, a human weapon.
It is possible. It's very unlikely, but it's possible, and it's worth considering.
Is this where we're going? Yeah, we're going with Project Blue Beam.
It's not unreasonable to consider the possibility, but just don't see it as a probability and don't jump to a certainty.
Yeah.
Be open to all kinds of possibilities, but put weight on them in accordance to their percentage of chance.
Yeah.
It's a very low possibility, but it is a possibility that should not be ignored. I could be completely brainwashed, for anyone knows.
Yeah. Wow.
So I offer people $1,000 if you can prove anything I say, any of my arguments wrong. I offer $1,000. If you want to show that if you can prove that I'm a super soldier that's been brainwashed and is part of some evil agenda, I'm offering you $1,000 to save me.
You do sound like you've been taken by the Illuminati, and you do sound like you're part of MK Ultra. That's what it sounds like.
I'm just throwing that out there as an alternative. Okay, I've interviewed, I guarantee you, 5 of them that are very, very, very true with their story. I mean, I can give you names. I mean, Sandy Bergen is one. That poor girl has went through a ton of shit. Yeah. She's now doing her own little podcast, trying to speak out about the torture from when she was little. I mean, dude, this is deep shit.
Matt, did you watch that film? Yeah. Matt, did you watch the film I linked you to? The Rothschild Speaks Out. She says that she went through MK Ultra. You'd like her.
I've watched that, kiddo. I've seen it. I've seen that show, bro.
Okay.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Mark, lovers, listen to me. If you can get the opportunity to interview some MK Ultra victims, please do it, because they are what we call TIs, or targeted individuals.
Yeah.
They know certain like historical things that are completely not really true until you start digging. And then when you dig, you're like, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how far Jeremy's story goes, or whether he is an MK Ultra victim, or whether his history is his history. I don't know. All I'm saying is it possible that it could be the other avenue. I don't know. I mean, for the love of God, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the difficult thing, like, because I know what you mean, Matthew, and that is that, he explains it in such a way that he is obviously convinced of it, 100%. And, he explains it so fast that, like, he has an answer, like, instantly to things. These are already in his mind. He doesn't have to think about it. So
yeah, I'm clearly not winging it. I'm just not making it up on the fly, obviously.
No, and it is all like all kind of things. You also are prepared to go like on record like this with it, like instantly.
And he's got details as well, hasn't he? I mean, if someone was lying, they wouldn't have all the info straight
like if you see people with all these alien stories, like you don't see many of them now. It's just all channeling bullshit. But before the year 2000, there was, like, from the 1960s, 80s, and all that kind of stuff, there was a few interesting stories. And if you look at the stories that are most credible, they're the ones that have the most details. And the ones that actually add up and that have some kind of evidence, these are the stories that have intricate details, at least some degree of intricate details.
And here's the thing: my story doesn't just have more details than all of them combined. I don't claim to have, like, there are things that I don't know about myself. I can talk about conversations that happened and everything. I can say that I know this is a case, but they didn't say this or they didn't say that, so I don't know about that. So I'm not claiming to have the answers to every single part of my story. Because, like, if you walk into a shopping centre, interacted with a bunch of people, look around, and then you leave, you can speak about things you saw, but there are things that you looked at, but you don't know what they were. So someone who's making up a story, they'll try and construct a story to everything. I don't have a story to everything that I saw. There are things that I saw that I can say this is probably the case, and there are things that I say this is definitely the case. So I'm speaking in the same kind of consistency of someone who actually had an experience of something.
Bro, have you travelled with other people from our race?
No. So I travelled. There was a certain extraterrestrial that I initially travelled with who took me to the mobile fortress, and after that I was given a ship. And I travelled alone in my own ship. I never travelled with anyone else since then. The only time I travelled with anyone else was when I was first brought there.
So was this extraterrestrial? Was he like big black eyes with the big heads? Is that all true?
Okay, so big heads are not universal, but they are common. Bigger than humans. Most have a bigger head than human. So when it comes to human type of alien, who have generally like a smaller head, they are a little bit less intelligent with raw brain power, but they are respected for generally being more creative. But anyway, so as for big black eyes, that is actually quite common, not universal. There's all kinds of shit. There's some weird shit as well. But big black eyes was actually quite common. But as I understand it, it's possible that these wearing these big black eyes, the blackness to their eyes might actually be some kind of contact lenses. I'm not too sure, but it could be. There were all kinds of stuff, but they were generally like humanoid-ish. And I've got descriptions of different aliens.
Talk about the night that the extraterrestrial took you. Can we talk about that?
Which night?
Which night? Oh, I don't know. Does he come and take you?
The one where I was abducted and taken to a place, and they hurt me.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Well, anyone you want to talk about.
This is the actual abduction. So these are people who were able to travel through space and time. They said that they created these rifts in time and space. They weaved space around itself in the distant future from here, and they were able to create their own bubble of a universe, and they had more control over this universe than the normal universe. And through a lot of hard work, they were able to create entry ports into space and time, and they were harvesting unused materials and stuff. It's a disturbing story. I won't say the whole thing, but I'll just show you what it looked like. So here's a diagram, a blueprint of the area that I was in, at least, that I walked around in. So in the bottom right room there, on the left picture, I was around near the center of the room. I woke up from a trance I was placed in. I was put into a trance of an image, and I snapped out of it, and I woke up in this dark room, and I got the impression that there might have been other people there as well, like not that I was alone, but it was dark and I couldn't see, but I could see enough to see there was a door to the left, and I wanted to get out of there. I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I got out. I went through that door. I went through a couple of rooms, as you can see in there, into that long hallway. I looked out the window, and that's where I could see as you can see what the windows look like on the right there, and then I walked down the hallway into through a door into this big open space with a stairway and a domed archway, big domed archway with light coming out of it, and a bunch of these really small muscular type of grey type of aliens came out, and they were surprised. They weren't alarmed. They were surprised that I was there. And they were very talkative, and had a conversation with them, and then they explained what they were doing, and they were harvesting resources. I got angry and violent, and they shit themselves, and then suddenly they weren't scared anymore. I didn't realise that someone had snuck up behind me. Obviously it was someone bigger than them, and I got hit over the head with something, and I got really, as soon as I got hit in the head, about half a second later, I fell to the ground with extreme nausea and passed out.
I woke up again and I was in a chair and they had this thing on my head and they said they were harvesting these brain chemicals and stuff. They said that there was 2 brain chemicals that we used to generate earlier in our evolution, but we don't use anymore. And apparently they're in very low purport. There's not much of it in our brains, but our brains still produce it, and they were harvesting it from human brains. And I got upset about it, but I couldn't do anything about it. And then they eventually put me back to sleep, and yeah, you still there? I'm disconnected, have I?
No.
Okay, I just saw you disconnect. All right. So
we just turn on mics.
This is a quick story. So they put me back to sleep. Well, after I had another conversation with them while they were doing this with an inclined chair with this thing on my head.
Yeah.
And they put me back to sleep. And the next thing I know, I'm upside down, back to front in my bed, and I wake up and I'm suffering extreme nausea and something's really wrong. I feel sick to my guts, and I'm like almost blacking out. And I get up, obviously with a memory of what just happened. I get up and I get off my bed and my foot is killing me, and I couldn't walk on my foot. In fact, I couldn't walk for months. It actually got worse. So there was this blister on my foot, like an injection site, and it felt like it has gone through my foot, up the bone in my leg and everything, and I couldn't walk on it for months, and I was so nauseous, and I went, I stumbled to my computer and I told my friends, which are actually my Manhattan friends, I told them what had just happened, and I noticed I had a beard. I had shaved at 7 p.m. the night before. And this experience had happened, like, it pretty much, I woke up shortly after I actually went to bed. I went to bed, this happened, and then I woke up a short time later. So I was suffering extreme nausea, I had a beard, and I felt like I'd been asleep for days. I wasn't tired or anything. You know, I had just gone to bed, and after a late night, I should be tired. No, I felt like I'd been asleep for days, and I woke up with a beard. So at least a few days have gone by. Something has happened. I must have got violent with it again or something, and I've got injured in the process, and somehow I've got injected in the foot by something.
Sorry to cut you out, Jet. They reckon when you get abducted, that you sometimes have like paralysis where it feels like you can't move.
I was never paralyzed, no.
No, but some abductee people reckon that.
And often these aren't actually abductions. It's often a symptom of normal sleep paralysis, which a lot of people actually get. Not to say that every case is that is the case, but usually that's what happens. But I wasn't paralyzed or anything. I was just
I do have a question about it because
I don't know what happened, but they didn't. They obviously I still retained memory. I wasn't supposed. They said that they were doing this covertly, so that no one would know that they were doing it, and they were just taking resources that wouldn't be missed. Well, here I am. I'm injured. Something's gone down. I'm injured. I've got I've got the early parts of memory. Obviously, whatever happened after that memory's been completely wiped. Whatever I got injured, but before that, my memories of what happened before that weren't wiped. So here they are saying that they're doing this covertly. Well, here I am. I obviously know something's happened and I'm injured. They have, maybe they were lying. I don't know, but they didn't seem to be liars. But they seemed to just not give it. They didn't seem to really give a shit about taking shit from other people. They just didn't seem to care. Yeah. But they didn't seem evil. They just seemed that they just didn't care.
Jeremy, I have a question about what your total experience here. Okay, are you aware of what's known as the 12 and Back program?
12 and Back program.
Hang on, the 12 and Back program.
12 and Back.
It is ran by 12 and Back. It's known as the Secret Space Program.
Yeah.
Here, okay. There's also 2 whistleblowers that I'm going to try to get you in touch with another gentleman.
Yeah, sure.
That runs a radio show called Fade to Black.
Yeah.
It's Jimmy Church, right?
Yeah, you mentioned him before. But, I'm game.
Anyway, there's 2 very, very key whistleblowers. One of his name is Corey Good. And
Matt, can you get him on the show? Can you get him on the show with us, all of us together?
I don't quite know. I mean, I don't know. I know you can get a hold of him on Twitter. You can get a hold of him on, I mean, he's a hard person to get a hold of. I mean, truly. But listen, listen, I told Mark and everybody else, listen to his story. Listen to Corey's story. Because there's too many coincidences here about MK Ultra, the 12 and Back program, the secret space program. It just, all of this ball of yarn, bro, is just coming unraveled.
Just remember this, that let's just say that my life story is some brainwashing construct of MK Ultra or whatever. Let's just say my life story isn't true. It is still hugely valuable because there are important lessons and inspiration that can be gained from it. Even if it's all wrong.
Definitely.
Well, going on with the 12 and Back, right? Supposedly, we know that the government has got technology far beyond what we are shown and what we're presented here. So knowing that, right, Corey Goode goes on to say that among this 12 and Back program, meaning 12 years out and 12 years in, they will blank slate the human consciousness and give them a false reality, a false identity, a false history. So we know that, again, we know that consciousness is what consciousness is. So I do. It's just very, very deep. Jeremy's got a very deep story.
I just want to mention one thing here is with all these stories, some of them more credible than others, but some of them have really vague evidence, but not really much at best. Who have you ever known who can show you a picture in Hangouts group with a CT scan showing microchips in their head?
Bro, I've taught. You really want the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I've interviewed Sandy Bergen.
She got scans and stuff, does she?
She's got, well, not necessarily scans, but
I'll send it again. I'll send it before. I'll just send it again. Keep talking.
The evidence of being victimized and being systematically wiped. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not believing the story because your story is damn sure true. And
I'm not asking people to blindly believe me. I'm saying, look, there could be all kinds of things could be happening here, but clearly I'm not just some crazy person. I'm not who's just making shit up. There is something to my story, whatever it may be.
Yes, and there is. That I will not.
I'm not saying people blindly believe me. I'm saying believe in the possibility that this could be true, but also take in consideration any reasonable possibility. Whatever it may be. I'm asking people to doubt. I'm asking people to ask questions and look into things. I'm not asking people to believe.
Yeah. I'm saying something happened to you. Something definitely damn sure happened to you, bro.
That much is for sure. Something has happened.
I've interviewed 3 people that I can give you names in like I said, drop in the chat. Things happen to these people. What happened to you is very, very differently.
Yes, that's right.
The image what you just dropped in the chat group, right? Behind the scenes, they can't see it unless they see the story. But you're microchipped, and going further to say that, you've been hijacked and abducted by the government. They want whatever the fuck.
Yes, they tried to cut this shit out of my head. They did really fucked up shit. They wanted to remove. They reckon that I had one in my eye as well. They wanted to remove my whole eye just to study it.
Right. This is what I'm saying. There's too many probable possible MK Ultra, your past history that you don't remember, but you do remember. Dude, something happened to you that is very significant.
Yep.
That is true. Very, very true. I mean, I
want to make one more point about my story. When you watch my story, whether you believe me or not, you will believe in me. I mean, you'll believe in the story.
I already told you I have.
If you know what the difference between believing a story and believing in it. If you know what I mean.
Jeremy, everybody on this panel already understands that you are too confident in your story, bro.
Confident and confident.
No, you are very confident. It's real. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the people we've talked to and also interviewed, bro, something is very significant with you. And I believe that.
So as I have a very different story to all these New Age cultists and stuff like that, right? And it turns out when, you know, science ends up coming later along and saying, hey, this is the case, all that we were wrong about everything, and it turns out I was the one that was right, and they're consistently wrong. The scientists are wrong, the New Age cultists are wrong, and it turns out I was right all along. So, I was going to say another point, that was a part of the first stage of the point, what was I going to say? I can't remember. I forgot the point. Hold on, just give me a sec.
I will admit, you're a strong talker, because the other day you muddled me up on fucking Adam Weishaupt and fucking Crowley, and I don't know.
That was a big cock up, wasn't it?
You got me flustered.
See, but that example that you just said it shows like you keep complaining that I'm not listening and stuff like that. But while you're saying this, I'm not just listening. I'm Googling this shit. What you're saying. I'm looking at this. I'm doing research on anything you're saying. I'm looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually went to the trouble while we were talking. You didn't know that. I went to the trouble while we were talking to look this stuff up, and I gave links and stuff and quotes.
I messed the order up with them, didn't I?
Yeah, you messed the one was following the other. Yeah.
One was dead.
You can't follow a man who's like. Oh, I actually said 35 years. I meant 45 years.
Sometimes I get a bit flustered because of I'm on the spectrum, so sometimes I get.
Sorry, I just remembered the point I was going to make. So my alien story is very different to everyone else's. Yet my alien story fits the whole, all the evidence, all the whole history of the world, everything. But the same thing happened with Anonymous. I came with the Manhattans with a very different version of Anonymous in its history. And a lot of black hats and stuff waged war against me, and everyone accused me and attacked me and suspicious of me. And it turns out after this big war ended, no one's been able to find fault with anything I said, and a lot of people started confirming things that I said. I went against all this decade longer of narrative about Anonymous that people have believed in, all these myths about Anonymous, and it turns out that I was right. And nothing one's been able to prove a single thing I've said about it wrong. As you look up the Anonymous symbolism video, you go look up Anonymous symbolism or Anonymous true meaning in YouTube, you look at all the comments, what people are saying.
So all the trolls and that, you're saying that was never part of the plan to be trolls?
No. The first Anonymous, my first 120 followers who tracked me down, and I sent them out on a 10 to 15 year mission. They're the ones who decided to go this path of the 4chan and stuff, and I had to adjust the plan and prolong it a little bit longer, and I had to do interventions in order to go this path. They chose to go. I would have done things a different way, but they made this more difficult and longer in the long run. But the whole plan would still work, but they just complicated it with insisting on doing things this way. So with this thing with trolls and stuff, Anonymous is something sincere, professional, and legitimate, right? But the way that they chose this plan with the 4chan stuff, I said that it's going to lead to a generation of lost and confused people. But I would organise this in such a way that the plan would work in the end. So even these trolls and stuff, I ended up having to incorporate them into the plan, right? So trolls, and even the black hats, all the shit that's going on has had a role to play to make the plan happen. It has all been orchestrated this way. And so all this division and fighting that everyone says is bad, and I'm saying, no, it's good. There's a reason behind this. These are the forces of good and evil revealing their true colours. It is a good thing. This division is a good thing. And there's more to it than people realise. As someone just said, you have to give him give me 11 hours.
Have you been to other dimensions and stuff? Have you seen other dimensions?
What people call dimensions, I've seen nothing like that. But something very different. What I've seen. Okay, so what I've seen is different universes so not dimensions. Maybe there are dimensions but I never experienced anything like this. What I experienced was that there were different universes. So people think that a universe happens every time a different action happens in the universe, every time a decision is made. Not in my experience. In my experience, it works in the same concept as chaos growing into order. So certain things that aren't coherent enough don't manifest as a stable universe. When a coherent divergence happens it's got enough coherence and consistency to it, a universe happens, an alternate universe happens.
So only some of the branches of possibility are coherent enough that they're stable enough that a universe forms. And universes they don't just form and stay forever. They appear and disappear all over the time. Some of them last longer than others. Some of them have been around since the beginning. It's the same thing as like with stars in the universe. Different stars live at very different ages. Some have theoretically been around since the early days. Some of them only last a very short period of time. Universes appear and disappear just like suns in our universe. And the same concept of how chaos grows into order. These are the same principles operating within our universe on different levels and across universe. It's the same principles. So in the same way, is you have the traditional concept of an atom, an electron orbiting an atom, just like a planet orbits a sun, just as the sun orbits the galaxy. The same, you see the same patterns happening on different scales.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What
so
about...
there are principles at play, mechanisms at play that operate.
So what's the end game, Edger? So if you've been through all this and you know about all these inside secret stuff, what's their end game? What is there?
Who's there? Because there are different end games from different players.
Oh yeah, okay. The elite.
The evil forces in this world.
Yeah.
Okay, their end game. I'll tell you what their end game is. So, this world is under a quarantine during an evaluation period of gaining entry into the greater community of the galaxy with other extraterrestrials. Right? It is under quarantine during an evaluation period. But not all of mankind is being evaluated. Only a certain branch of mankind, the white race, is being evaluated. And the non-white world is very bitter about that, those who are in the know. But there's more to it than that. So they may be evaluated and gain entry in their own time. If they play their cards right, they're playing their cards wrong. If they start playing their cards right, they'll gain entry in their own time, and they'll have white people to thank for setting things up for them and making it easy when it's their turn. Because there's a lot of if they succeed, there's going to be a lot of hard work and building a lot of things in the future. And white people are going to set the way. If they succeed, they're going to set the way forward, and they're going to do all the hard work. And it's going to be easy for everyone else later if they play their cards right. All this jealousy is just ridiculous. All they got to be jealous of is other people doing the hard work for them, like they've done since the last 400 years of creating modern civilization.
Are you trying to say that Muslims, the Muslim race is going to be the main race, and whites are going to become like slaves? Is it?
No, I didn't say anything like that. Quite the opposite. Muslims are the main reason why the world is under quarantine and why the world is at risk of being destroyed. Because if this is how it works.
Yeah.
A political system was set up 1.3 billion years ago to settle an old war, right? And it's coming to an end now too. It's in the process of coming to an end, and things are really getting messed up as it's ending. But there was a political system that's been in operation for 1.3 billion years between two sides.
What's ended? Can you just talk a bit about that?
I'll explain. There was a war a long time ago that went for a long time, and it threatened all life in the galaxy, right? All the evolutions in the galaxy. There was a war basically between two ideological positions that could loosely represent freedom and control. Okay, one was too far in the way of freedom, one was too far in the way of control. They fought over how to manage life and evolution in the universe. So because if you allow certain evolutions, certain vampiric evolutions to go out into space and cause havoc, they'll destroy everything. So how do you manage these things? There was a war over managing this stuff. So a truce was eventually made 1.3 billion years ago. Neither side wanted the destruction that was causing. So they formed a truce for a reason. There was a plan in mind for the whole thing. But this truce was like a middle ground between the two. So they set up a system of rules of how to manage life in while they test their ideas against each other for 1.3 billion years ago, while they wait for a certain thing to happen, which is happening now. So,
bro, how do you know about it? You weren't alive.
It's in my story. It's in my story. You'll understand my story. So I'll tell this what I'm trying to answer your question. So, So this 1.3 billion year piece of this political system, this governing authority, as I call it, there are certain rules that it operates on. And so what happens is any life that hasn't yet reached space travel
is automatically quarantined. You're not allowed to go down there. You're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to interact with it. It's quarantined. It's protected. Once life of a planet reaches space travel and what they call breaches the barrier, once they breach the barrier into space, then they are to be evaluated for entry into the intergalactic community. If they fail their evaluation period and they're deemed violent, invasive, and they're a threat to everyone else, then they are to be exterminated. So if they fail, they are exterminated. If they succeed, they gain entry into the greater community. And it's not like free entry. There's obviously a long process of things that happen. But if they succeed, they gain entry. So mankind, the white race specifically, if the white race fails its evaluation period, all of mankind will be destroyed because all of mankind has played a role in space travel. But if they succeed, then the white race will progressively be introduced to the greater community ahead of the others. And if they play their cards right, they'll get entry in their own time. But there are rare conditions that on the rare occasion that you can bring someone from another race or an animal or something from a planet to others in the rare condition. But generally, it's a certain group that's allowed access. So this, when mankind reached space in the 1950s and 60s, especially the moon landing, whether you say the moon landing was real or not is irrelevant because they breached the barrier around the same time. And what happened was their attention was received from all the nuclear bombs and wars and shit nuclear bombs especially that happened in the 1940s of World War II. That got their attention. So can you just check if you can still hear me? Someone's saying something in the chat. Okay, just checking we're still connected. So the nuclear bombs and shit went off, got their attention, and there was an evaluation of the situation, and the white race was after that gained access to space while they were already watching what's going on and evaluating the situation. So after gaining space travel, the white race was to be evaluated. But understand what I said about messages travelling back and forth. It takes time. So there are decisions that need to be made. There's waiting for certain people to arrive, the ones that make these decisions on the result. And this is that mobile fortress I talked about. As I understand it, it's on its way. If it hasn't arrived already, it is on its way here. They are the ones who make the decision, who are going to make the decision whether we succeed or fail the evaluation period. So everyone else who's watching this planet is maintaining a quarantine over this planet to protect it from others who are fucking around. There's a long story there. To maintain a quarantine over this world while they arrive and make a decision on the matter.
So basically people
There's no Galactic Federation of Light and all that New Age shit. That's toxic, evil, corrupt, poison. The New Age shit is completely bullshit.
So when this fortress comes, like the elite and all that will be completely wiped out by these.
Yes. Now this is where the elite come in. So there are certain minority of people in this world, the political elite and corporate elite, who have they have a lot of illegitimate power that they've stolen. And that power they wield is not legitimate, and I think we all know that by now, right? It's through usury and fake money and shit like that. So if the white race is accepted into the greater community, all that little scheme their power scheme that got on to rule this world, that's going to go bye-bye. So what they're trying to do, you notice they never talk about aliens. They avoid the topic like the plague. They pretend that there's no one else out there. They avoid the topic like the plague for a reason. They're trying to keep this world in a perpetual quarantine state as long as they can to maintain power. Their plan is to try and get the governing authority to declare a long-term quarantine, to abandon space travel. You know, all this moon travel and everything, they've abandoned all that. You sure they're sending the odd probe out and everything? So only certain groups are doing that, but governments have abandoned all this space travel for a reason. Because if they start going into space, they're going to get killed. They're going to get judged and killed. So if they abandon space travel altogether and just keep to this world and keep to themselves, their hope is to try and cause the governing authority to establish a long-term quarantine on this world.
So they will hold on to power and maintain that power. And their intention that they were doing these little schemes, these little deals with some shady fucker extraterrestrials. And they think that they can get access to their by secret deals through a secret communication with them to try and sneak through the quarantine, which they can't do anymore. All this shit's been shut down. But they think that they can forge some kind of secret alliance with extraterrestrials and sneak out of the planet back and forth if they need to, and just do this and violate the quarantine under the table. So they can really have access to space stuff, but just do it on the sly and maintain control over this planet. See, they're of the position, these are vampiric, evil pieces of shit, they're of the position of, if we can't rule the world, no one will. If we can't have it, no one will. If we're going down, we'll take everyone with us. That's their position. Right. They would destroy the world if it means losing the power they have.
Because they seem to think that they're
No, I don't support Elon Musk, especially his bullshit on AI. I'm actually an AI expert. He doesn't know shit on AI. He's talking like fantasy Terminator bullshit. He doesn't know shit. I've got a video on Elon Musk on my YouTube channel criticizing me on this. Someone actually commented it. Someone who actually knows about AI actually commented on that video saying that I'm right about this AI shit. If you look into this, real AI experts aren't given a voice, but you can find some YouTube videos of people sometimes mentioning this, that real AI experts like me are saying that Elon Musk is full of shit. He's concerned about. There are concerns to be made about AI, but it's nothing to do with what him and others are talking about. That's complete bullshit. The only concern about AI is with governments using surveillance AI to manage surveillance, extreme surveillance and shit like PRISM, that kind of shit. Using AI to monitor that shit.
That's mad.
But yeah, Elon Musk is full of shit. What do you mean, bro? I just asked. I don't know what you mean. I'm not offended or anything. Was that what you mean? No, I'm not. No, the only thing I'm upset with is Elon Musk. Look, this guy's filthy rich. He's not one of the good guys. He's one of the bad guys, and he's just putting on a big act to pretend to be one of the good guys.
No, I said that's mad. I went, that's mad. Meaning it's crazy. All the stuff you're talking about is crazy, but it makes sense because you're talking about it with so much conviction. It's just like, well, you can't be lying because we're asking you questions like, I don't know if Mark is still here. Mark,
you hear Mark?
Mark, you still here?
Hey, I'm listening to everything he
says. Yeah.
Just checking.
But we ask him stuff and it's got to be true, isn't it? Because he's just so quick.
Yeah, try to find a hole in anything I say. Like, if you want to prove me wrong, I'm perpetually offering $1,000 for anyone who wants to prove me wrong. So if your ideas that maybe I've been brainwashed by MK Ultra or something like that, I'm not offended by that. I'm saying, look, explore any possibility, any reasonable possibility, or you like, test me. I'm not saying believe what I'm saying. I'm saying put me to the test. Look into this shit. Try and prove me wrong, because by doing so, you will discover that I am right. And I'm offering $1,000 for anyone who can prove me wrong. So if I am wrong and I am brainwashed or whatever, I'm offering money for you to help me.
Yeah, so that's what I also said. I mean, I'm convinced you're not lying. So you're convinced of this story yourself. So whether it's
and my stories go very differently to a lot of the popular narratives. They are very different, but they make perfect sense. And there's a lot of evidence and historical parallels and everything. It all fits. Their stories, these people behind these popular narratives and myths. If you look into it, they have a history of being proven wrong and being caught lying and shit. I go against not all, but most narratives. I go against most narratives.
Yeah. So what about demonology and like ghosts and that? Have you
yes,
come across
that's an interesting topic. So when it comes to my alien memories and story and everything, there was nothing demonic or anything about that. However, when my arrival on this world, I was kind of implanted into a fetus. It's a long story, but my arrival into this world, since my childhood, there's been all kinds of supernatural experiences and weird shit.
Cool, talk about them.
Mark, I think Matt went through some of them.
Mark's probably got his questions about this stuff. He loves this stuff. Mark,
I got like hours of videos on I've been talking about this stuff. I can give you some examples. So, let's go to the ghost. Okay, so this is one that had a witness. Unfortunately, my witness, my cousin Jim, he's died since. He died of a heart attack. But I was at Batter Bay at New South Wales, Australia, where I grew up. I was at home alone, but with my cousin Jim. It was just me and my cousin Jim were there, right? And I was just out in the balcony and sitting out there, and the dog was on the other side of the balcony against the window, just staring out the balcony, just normal, nothing concerned about, just chilling. And my cousin Jim, he went on the phone. He was on the phone for ages, talking on the phone to someone. He made a phone call, and then I could hear this strange sound, like a loudspeaker, from a distant, faint loudspeaker, and I was like, I wonder what that's coming from. I just try to ignore it, but it got louder and louder, and it started getting more and more focused. And it started becoming focused around the front of the house, and then toward the inside of the house at the bottom of the stairs, and it's getting clearer and clearer. And it seemed to start coming up the stairs, slowly coming up the stairs, and it was moving around a bit, up and down, but it was generally going up the stairs, and it was becoming more and more clear. It got so clear to the point where I could actually start making out words. And it was a man and a woman, and they seemed to be fighting over being dead. So the man was trying to get her to leave quickly before it's too late, and the woman was drawn to come to this house and come upstairs for something. She was drawn to something like a moth to light, and they were fighting over the woman wanted to come up to something, and he was trying to get her to leave quickly while there was still time, and they were arguing, fighting over it, and it came to the stop at the top of the stairs eventually. Now, as this was happening, the dog was crying and carrying on because he was scared, and a few times he just done the bolt, and he went down and ran outside. He went completely bonkers and started lying down on the ground crying, scared, and then he would come back up and lie next to me at the window again, all scared. And he did that a couple of times. He ran downstairs and went crazy. And my cousin Jim was looking from the phone. He was looking at me at the balcony with this scared look on his face, horrified look on his face, and I'm looking back on him and I'm thinking, are you hearing this shit? And we didn't, because we were far away from each other, we were staring at each other the whole time. And I'm thinking, you're looking back at me with this strange face, so I'm looking at you. Are you hearing this? And so eventually, when they got to the top of the stairs, it just went dead silent for about 2 minutes. And then out of nowhere, after that 2 minutes, the woman was underneath the light right next to me, right near me, and she screamed not in terror, but screamed in like a crying kind of scream, as though she's just realized the gravity of the situation she's in, and that she's just realized that she's dead. And she screamed in a crying way. And then it stopped, and then the dog bolted downstairs outside. He didn't come back he wouldn't go inside anymore for hours. So after that scream, shortly after that scream, I opened the balcony door. I went inside. I said, "Did you hear all that?" And he said the same thing at the same time. And we both said what we just heard at the same time. So my cousin Jim, he was shitting himself over that, because this shit that these ghosts or whatever have gone right past him on the phone. And he's just frozen still, staring at me, shitting his pants. So what happened is, a short time later, everyone else came home, and we told them what we just saw, and they thought we were either making shit up, and they were offended at what we said, just thought we were just full of shit. So the radio got put on, and as it turned out, is half an hour away, a man and a woman died in a car accident. It was on the radio, and this happened half an hour after they died. Wow. Maybe it was them. So this is a recurring thing. It's like the sixth sense. That's kind of like what I grew up like. So in my life story, you see in the early stages that I was treated like a devil child. It wasn't just that I knew so much. I knew things that I shouldn't know. It was that all these supernatural events and aliens and shit would just follow me everywhere I go, and other people would witness this shit, and they would think that I'm evil or something, and they will be scared of me because of it, and scared of being near me. This is just one example of a lot of shit that happened. And if I was actually offered the keys to this world by an unseen creature at one point on a throne, with a throne and everything. That was what I can do, I'll get the actual video. There's so many stories here. I'll just give you the link to this video if you want to watch it. It goes through some of these supernatural stories. But with my alien story, but the alien part of my story, there was nothing supernatural about it. And there was a specific, when it comes to religion and spirituality and all that kind of shit, there was a very tough political position on this matter. And yet, I come to this world, and then all this shit starts happening. But this shit didn't exist in my alien story until I came back to this world, and this stuff happened. There's something going on in this world, and if you look at my story, you realize that I am heavily connected to it.
Right, guys, I gotta go. You guys can carry on, but I've got to go.
Okay, I'll give you that link later. Then I'll give you the link to that video where I talk about these stories.
Yeah.
Later.
I have to leave for like an hour too, so maybe we can do this later tonight.
So anyone else want to talk? Are we all done?
Well, Matt's on a different time zone, so I'm sure he's got a lot.
He hasn't spoken anything. I think he's AFK. We've gone for 3.5 hours now.
He's catnapping, is he? Is he there?
I think so.
Catnapping? No, I'm just listening.
Okay.
Listening to you.
Just make sure to record this or whatever, and then we can.
Yeah, I've got shit on my YouTube channel. I'll get my YouTube channel up right now, and you can have a look at this stuff. You got that link to my life story movie, the 11-hour playlist?
Yeah, and you also sent it to me before. Okay. I have to watch
That's my link to my actual channel. So
all right, guys.
Don't get. See you, Jay.
Good night.
Don't get drowned out with all this information I'm giving you. Just put all that aside and just go through in your own time. Go through my 11-hour life story, because most questions and the whole framework of everything is explained in that. And there's a bunch of evidence in that just to show that it's actually true. And I can give you, from there, after you watch that, I can give you all kinds of shit. And I can talk with you as much time as you want, go through questions and answers or anything. I can give you all kinds of evidence of everything after that. But it's best to watch the 11-hour story to understand the whole picture of the story first.
Don't worry, I will do that, and then I will. I'll certainly ask you some questions for sure. So
yeah, I'm available as much as possible. So time's not a constraint for me.
And I'm very open to your story too. So we can talk about this.
Yeah, I'll be available as much as possible. Thanks for the chat, man.
Okay.
Mark.
Talk later, guys.
See you, man.
Mark.
Hey.
Love you, man. See you, buddy.
Hey, talk later.
All right, buddy.
Good night, Mark. Good night. Good night, guys.
Later, Jay.
Good night, Jay.
Good night, guys.
Great show.
Everybody.
Really good show. Right.
So there's only me and Matt left. You still here, Matt? Let me check. Yeah, there's two of us here. Oh, I think it.
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just saying goodbye to everyone.
Okay,
see you later.
Right, so see you later. Matt's gone too, so all right, I'll close up the recording and I'll upload it. Well,
send me the recording, yeah.
Yep. What I'll do is I'll just go get it off just rip the audio. You just use a browser audio rip straight from it's quicker than just downloading it normal.
I know, but it was a zip the other day. I like it when you just give me the MP3 and I can just download it.
Yeah, I'll give you the MP3 then. I'll just upload it like all the way. All right. Catch you later, man. Bye.
Okay, bye, Jared. Bye.